about negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Hey, y'all, Gravity. Any day above ground, live it. I think it's appropriate I play this before we start.
I'm back.
Who had fun in that car live that we had about an hour ago? Who had fun? Hour and a half ago. Who had fun? That was the big fun. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was thoroughly entertained. Because it just goes to show you that they still think that we're stupid. And in real time, you show them, okay, we're going to play your game. Sell me. They couldn't sell me. And when I retorted, it became trolling. Like, you're supposed to listen to me. You're not supposed to be contrarian. Okay. I mean, I thought that's what makes this country great. A simple question. Sell me your candidate. That's all I ask. Sell me your candidate. I'm not looking for succinct explanations. I just want you to sell me stuff. I don't want you to sell me the past. Sell me the future. Those who were there. How many times did I say that? Sell me the future. We take everything off the table. Sell me the future. They couldn't do it. So I said, fuck it.
Baltimore, having big fun.
I said, we're in the car on the highway. Let's have the big fun. And not one of them could do it. Trump, Biden, y'all got a lot of, you need to send out your minority outreach people. Y'all need to do that. You could even send the white people because they really don't know what they're voting for. But we know who we're voting for over here, family. That's right. We voted for the couch. The life of a content creator. But anyway, this is not what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about this war that's about to pop off. Conservatives. Your destruction is going to be put in the diagnostic statistical manual, and it will be researched for years to come. Because the fact that you let so many infiltrators in, you let people say whatever they want, and you come in and you throw money and you throw StreamYard links and Rumble links at them to talk to them so you can signal boost yourself. You don't ask any tough questions. You sit there and smile when they say, you know, my favorite color is blue. This is the end result because, of course, again, y'all don't listen to people that have sub 80 IQs. Let y'all tell it. You don't listen We told y'all 2 years ago, Elon Musk buying this app was going to be the death knell for y'all. You didn't want to listen. You saw it as an opportunity to make money and be your whole racist self. God bless America, they said. First week, the N-word trends over 3,000 times. Okay. Uncle Tim trends. Talking about Tim Scott. Clarence Thomas does Roe v. Wade. He gets called the N-word. Trended again. Reparations trends. Y'all doing Twitter Spaces, knocking it. Angel Reese makes a double-double. Y'all call her every name but the child of God. Daniel Penny does what he does. All y'all say free that man. Y'all still showing everyone you don't know how to read first pages of autopsies. And we continue down the cycle. But we might have finally hit the roadblock because the quartering's pissed off at Elon, even though Elon was his boy. We're going to get into all that. And like I said in the chat, this rabbit hole is deep. So you're going to get information. But before we do that, let us see who's in the building this morning. Jerry Bedford, good morning. Cosmo Fury, good morning. Retro Gemini, good morning. Torian Rain, good morning. Hold on 1 second. Let me shut off this goddamn AC. I don't need it. Shut that off. I am a bachelor for 2 weeks. I'm living alone. My family is away. Go on vacation. Have fun. Miss Nisi, hello. I think I said Wallow J, hello. Probably, yes, I did. FBA Queen, hello. Yes, they were crazy, but they still don't even know how to troll right. But it's okay. Yes, that is nickel and diming on the right. The 16th in, yes. Bert, good morning. Reparations Nation, good morning. Black women stand up, good morning. Tommy Dorsey, good morning. Community T, good morning. And for those who haven't said anything in the chat or the live comments, good morning. And Shakur Benton, hello. Okay, before we start, got to play this.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose, such as criticism, commenting, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
Yes. So we all remember 2 years ago he bought this. I did a stream where I said that hiring Linda Yaccarino as CEO might usher in social credit scores. Now, that hasn't happened yet. But similar things have happened. You have to give up your ID now to get a blue check so you can continue to get monetized. And they have fallen in line with not only the European Union standards regarding what you're going to see a little later involving the 16th thing, but also we come to find out that an organization that Elon and X have re-entered has ties to the World Economic Forum. But we're going to play a little bit of that stream I did 2 years ago, where we were talking about the WEF when they were espousing their views on media. Here we go. Is that as more content is distributed through social platforms, technology companies should be responsible for guaranteeing the integrity of information and discourse online, either directly or by supporting quality providers. I'm going to read that again. The argument is that as more content is distributed through social platforms, technology companies should be responsible for guaranteeing the integrity of information and discourse online, either directly or by supporting quality providers. Fam, they are essentially saying technology companies need to have the power to limit speech. That's exactly what they're saying. Even if the information is true, if it's damning to a narrative, get rid of it. And we've seen that work. Y'all heard what I said. Technology companies are going to limit the circulation of information if it's damning to a narrative. We saw that in 2020. We're seeing that now. World Economic Forum is playing puppet master. Now, mind you, I told motherfuckers this 2 years ago that this was going to happen. But again, they saw Big Brother Elon bought an app where they could be their old racist selves. Rumble wasn't enough. Say less. Okay. Yes, community T, stay safe and stay cool out there. So, what's the situation? Well, Brother Torian Rain, shout out to him if you haven't subscribed to him. And I don't know how the hell you missed that, but you probably did because we know how YouTube is. Make sure you get a brother a follow. Torian, if you're here, put your link in there one time. Just be careful, the trolls might show up. And I'll take full responsibility for that because they mad. But anyway, he sent me this on Monday, and I was thoroughly entertained going down the rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole is deep. I ain't deep, it's deep. So this is from X. They put this up. It says, we're a member of GARM. We have that pulled up. We'll show that in a few minutes. This is a tweet from their safety account or safety division, whatever, on July 1st. Ironically, the same day that was the last day you have to give up your ID to stay monetized. We're excited to announce that X has reinstated our relationship with the World. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't tell y'all this. The World Federation of Advertisers, Global Alliance for Responsible Media. As of today, X is included as a member of GARM here, and this is the link to their. This is the link to their statement, I guess. X is committed to the safety of our global town square. I think I have this pulled up. I think I do. I think I did pull it up. Where is it? I might have got out of it. Let me see. That's that page. Damn, I did get out of it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it back up. Because y'all got to see this statement. This statement is hilarious. X is committed to the safety of our global town square and proud to be part of the GARM community. Now here, people were saying, well, you got rid of Alex Rosen, who he's one of these PDF file catchers. They suspended him. If I advertise on X, will I need to comply with GARM's AdNet zero carbon emissions guideline? This is not exciting by any stretch. What use could this possibly have towards free speech? It's called to limit it. WFA-led Global Alliance for Responsible Media scales up efforts through the World Economic Forum. Look, you're spending pennies for 3,000 people. Okay. If X is going to partner in any way with the WEF, I'm really going to have to rethink spending my pennies here. Worst news ever. Nobody knows you. What are free speech alternatives to X? Does not need to be US based. Family, let me hip y'all on game. These fools had all these apps that they could have been their big racist selves. Didn't go there. They complained about Gab not being user friendly. They complained about Getter being too slow. They complained about BitChute. They all ran to X. Now that he pulled this move with Linda, because, you know, conservatives really thought that Elon Musk, the big ass billionaire, they really thought that he was a champion for them. And they're finding out what we've been telling you the whole time. I'm sorry. Let me get on camera when I say it. Hey, you know how y'all like to say that we like to just bitch about white supremacy all day? If this doesn't show you that white supremacy is a global system, I don't know what will. Yes, white people. Yes, you racists. You can be subjugated just as well. Guess what? Yes, according to these quote unquote bigwigs, they'll allow you to be racist in the lobby while they're racist in their big ass offices up top on the 30th floor. Where the real decisions are being made. Y'all are just running security. Sucks to be you. But what Brother Torian said, if they get rid of those blue checks, they may end it all. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah.
Who cares? But yeah, I feel absolutely nothing for them.
Don't care. I really don't.
And why should I care?
You do what you want. You tripped, fell, and busted your head into the griff. And now you expect us to help you while your head is bleeding? Nah, you good. Elon Musk, this needs immediate addressing. You're going to lose a lot of business. A lot of blue checks going to vanish. Clarity now, please. Who cares? Bye. Again, people, this man inadvertently exposed all of you for being griff hounds, for being the worst type of people. No scruples. But y'all don't care because you were getting coins. This is why I started saying y'all chose money over integrity. Because if you were really about free speech and you were really about fighting the system, you never would have bought a blue check. You would have organically grown it without it. As soon as he bought it, I guarantee you your favorite influencer bought their check. They weren't grandfathered in. They didn't work for it. And then old Twitter said, you know what? You got to reach. Here's your blue check. None of them did that. They paid $11 fucking to put out their bullshit. For what? To give up your phone number? To be put in a database so when they have a data breach, everybody gonna have your number. You paid $11 a month so you can get your tweet at the top of someone's post. For what? So people could see you? Y'all never learn. But you're going to learn November 5th. Time. Oh, yeah. Yes, Torian. July 1st. That done passed. It's been 9 days. And they all still got their blue checks. That means they gave up their ideas. Hey, by the way, y'all so worried about the WEF? Yeah, Israel got your ID. So go ahead and say something. They know exactly where you live. They know everything about you. Because y'all don't listen. You were them fools in school that nobody listened to. Now you want people to listen to you. All right. Well, there's that. So now you got this woman over here talking about Truth Social. I really meant to do a video about this. And I should have mentioned it when I did say Trump was launching his Truth Social app. Y'all don't care about that, man. Conservatives, I'm going back on camera. I'm going to say this right to your faces, especially all you assholes that showed up in my live this morning. Y'all don't care about your candidate called Trump. You never did. All he is somebody that says what you would like to say, but you're too chicken-hearted to do it. Y'all never cared about that man. You cared about that man. Truth Social would have crashed the first day. It didn't. The most it did was it had to hold a whole bunch of people pre-registration. Y'all went over there maybe for 2 days and then left it alone. Y'all could have built up that app. That could have been your version of X. But y'all didn't do that. And the only time Truth Social gets any kind of mention is if he writes something. And there's plenty of people over there. But y'all don't care. I have the app. Guess what? When he puts something in there, it's just a whole bunch of troll posts of people trying to sell their stuff. But here y'all are talking about Getter. Go to Gab. What? Let me help you with Truth Social. Israel runs that now. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Here we go. We've entered the zone, family.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah.
Now, thanks to Brother Torian's direct message that he sent me regarding this topic. As I said, the rabbit hole is not deep. It's deep. Pause. I was led to this video. This is one of the Hoteps. Hotep Goldstein. I want y'all to listen to what he said, because he actually breaks down what happened to Jeremy. And then unfortunately, we're gonna have to look at Jeremy's video, because he's talked about this. So I was gonna pull up the Twitter post, but it didn't give me enough information, and he went like 16 minutes talking about this. So we're gonna unfortunately have to go over there to get full context. But I want you to listen to what Hotep Goldstein said. Actually, you know what? Let's do Jeremy's video first. Let's do his video first. Pause. And then we'll go to Hotep Goldstein. So we're going to proof this, because I don't want to hear this man talking normally, because he might fuck around and cry. All right, here we go. This sucks.
What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day.
How you have a wonderful day? You'll explain. Go ahead.
Interesting bit of news, as it would appear that X, the free speech platform, has now joined the WEF. That's right. They have signed up. It's not hyperbole. They themselves have admitted it. I will show you the evidence. So many people, when I reported this yesterday, thought, are you crazy? No, I have to see proof. I will show you proof. In fact, they are excited to announce that they have reinstated their relationship with the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. You might not have heard of that before, but it is described as a flagship product for the WEF. I'm not sure exactly how you can reconcile being a free speech platform, working with them, and also with this product, but we're going to talk about it. I started doing some digging after the Publica, my news outlet, was locked out of Twitter yesterday. By the way, I'm going to leave linked in the pinned comment the Publica on Rumble. All of our reporting you can find on Rumble. We're updating that today. We're not worried.
Who cares? But yeah, I feel absolutely nothing for them.
2 more times. By the way, Jeremy, before we go back to your video and your explanation, you so upset that the WEF rejoined up with X, you still have your blue check. You know, for an app that stopped your money flow, you seem to not care that much, because you could have taken a stand and said, I'm paying you until you reinstall my shit. But again, money over integrity.
About getting banned by Rumble, but we were banned by Twitter yesterday. Sydney Watson was locked out. Our journalist Sarah Fields was locked out. Anybody who was posting our article that was reporting on a terrible crime done by an Afghan migrant. They don't want you to report on this stuff, and I have a feeling I know exactly why we were locked out. By the way, X has also reinstated banning, issuing a 6-month ban to somebody yesterday, something that Elon Musk said would never happen.
Oh boy, and they listen to him.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You listen to that man tell you he ain't gonna ban nobody when we literally saw people get banned. But they were black accounts. They were black accounts. Shout out to Wani Spots. She was banned for how long? But that was okay. That was okay.
be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
I'm sure them trolls are going to come in here like, where are you making it about race? Okay, let's help you. White people are being attacked right now. What are you going to do about it?
I know a lot of people will call me an Elon Musk hater. I am not. I'm, in fact, an Elon Musk fanboy, a Tesla fanboy.
There it is. I got to go. There it is. He messes up your money, you still a fanboy. Man. Oh, boy. It never ceases to amaze me. It never ceases to amaze me. We finna cook. Oh, we gonna cook. It never ceases to amaze me. This fool just said, let me change this. This fool just said he kicked down my account. And now you're still a fanboy. He stopped your money. Oh, Lord. Okay. You know what? I don't even want to do the chef thing today. It's my day off. Okay, Jeremy. Jeremy, this. Y'all are not being these charges that y'all might be suspect. That is suspect. Oh, Lord. Let's continue.
Issuing a 6-month ban to somebody yesterday, something that Elon Musk said would never happen. I know a lot of people will call me an Elon Musk hater. I am not. I'm, in fact, an Elon Musk fanboy, a Tesla fanboy, a SpaceX fanboy. And I still think that Twitter is better now than it.
But you don't have none of his merch running around. Where is your piece of the SpaceX rocket?
Was under Twitter 1.0. But this is extremely concerning given the CEO, everything we know about Linda Yaccarino, the CEO. So you see X Safety announcing July 1st. This happened just 5 days ago. Nobody noticed. Hardly anybody reported on it. We're excited to announce that X has reinstated our relationship with WFA Marketers, Global Alliance for Responsible Media. As of today, X is included as a member of GARM here. Well, let's go. Let's check out that GARM website, huh? Because we need to know what's going on with that. World Federation of Advertisers. Membership of GARM is open to advertisers, ad tech platforms, media agencies, platforms, and industry associates. Members support the GARM operations via an annual membership fee and expected to appoint representatives to be members of the GARM community. We also collaborate with industry associate members to ensure as many people as possible understand our network. Remember Bridge, remember DEI, right? All this kind of stuff. This is what we're talking about. So you see a lot of buzzwords, right? On GARM, you see all these companies who are part of it: Nike, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, TikTok, YouTube, X. Now you can see proudly displayed on this website right here. Okay. So this is not fake news. All right. But what is GARM? Well, let's go to the WEF website, the World Economic Forum. By the way, every time I mention that word, I know.
Okay. I don't want to hear no more. I found this. Now, Jeremy, this video, your video came out when? A day ago. I had this loaded up since Monday. Yeah. I don't know if you talked about that in your video. You probably didn't. But it says the group behind brand safety guideposts is under scrutiny in Washington. The Global Alliance for Responsible Media, the organization whose framework is used to decide how safe or appropriate podcast content is for marketers, is under fire in Washington for an alleged anti-conservative bias. Here we go. Jeremy. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is planning to hold a hearing exploring potential federal antitrust law violations. Jordan first subpoenaed top officials from GARM and its parent, the World Federation of Advertisers, in March 2023 for documents and communications related to their coordinated efforts to demonetize and censor disfavored speech online. He said the organizations appeared to be colluding to prevent certain content from benefiting from advertising dollars and to reduce that content's presence online. Remember what I said this past year, that conservatives were going to start saying that they're being shadow banned? That was going to be their excuse for them to continue being forever victims. It sucks now that they have a plausible dumbass reason. It sucks. But yeah. I guess Jeremy's on this type of time, huh?
Work here, Mr. Redmond.
Valley. Say it ain't so, Valley.
Say it ain't so, Valley. Say it ain't so. GARM works with its members to demonetize and eliminate disfavored content online, Jordan wrote in the letters. He said it appears the group created categories such as debated sensitive social issues to restrict advertising. Quote, this collusive conduct reduces consumer choice and cuts off access to diverse coverage on matters of national interest, Jordan said. Jordan has now reportedly asked executives from the two companies that are part of GARM to testify during the July 10th hearing, which is today, titled Collusion in the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. Breitbart News reports executives from Group M and Unilever have been invited to testify about how their companies use GARM data to decide where advertising is placed. Breitbart says Jordan says both companies are closely involved in GARM's efforts to boycott, demonetize, and censor disfavored viewpoints. Here's my question. If you knew all this, why are you still on X? Again, like everybody else said, there's other platforms. But y'all not y'all didn't leave. Where is the massive conservative boycott of Twitter? I think we're asking. By the way, did you know that that hearing is today? I'm actually waiting on it. We're going to watch this. Jeremy, I bet you won't go live to watch that. I bet you won't. You're going to wait till it ends and then you're going to go peruse X to see who else watched it so you can go scam off their nice little attention to details and act like you knew something impressive. And you don't know a damn thing. But again, let you tell it. You're smart. Man who was sitting there talking X-Men is woke and wanted to suck on a Final Fantasy VII character's chest. Okay, sir. GARM was launched at Cannes in the summer of 2019. The organization says it has been working to highlight the changes needed for advertisers to feel more confident about advertising. It has done that by creating brand safety standards in advertising by establishing common definitions, metrics, and tools to help brands steer their ads away from content they think is not in line with their values. But many conservatives have said those standards have been weaponized to redirect advertising away from right-leaning content. Family, we ain't got to read no more of this. I'm going to tell you why. Conservatives love Disney. Conservatives love McDonald's. Conservatives love Home Depot. Conservatives love Coca-Cola. Conservatives love Lionsgate, Skydance, Marvel Studios. They love Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I guarantee your favorite influencer has a pint in there right now. I'm probably going to say the Cherry Garcia. Why am I saying all this? Conservatives are bitching because their money's run out and they want those nice, sexy, left-leaning ad dollars. And they're pissed off. They spent this whole time railing against the left. They spent this whole time railing against these companies that they say went woke. Wasted all that time when they could have been building. This is what y'all don't understand. And even them same conservatives they got sitting in Congress didn't build nothing. All they did was yell at Democrats and rhinos. That's all they did. They didn't build shit. The only thing they built worth note is their bank accounts. Now, here it is. We're on the precipice of an election. They know their grift is about to end. They're trying to secure those left-leaning dollars. What if I told y'all? They will change their stance based on the issue. Now, all of a sudden, when we told y'all, once again, Elon Musk was not for free speech, y'all called us crazy. Cool. Now, here it is 2 years later. He's showing you that he wasn't for free speech because when he signed up Linda Yaccarino, y'all should have went crazy. You didn't. There was a few yelps, but y'all let it ride because you were getting paid. Now here it is. She brought that man back in there because what did I tell y'all? He finna sell that app. So he's trying to make it attractive. See, I brought it back. It took a little while, but I brought back the big advertisers. I don't want this headache no more. Because he knows what's going to happen. All those advertisers are like, yeah, we're going to come back, but we're going to tax you, sir. We want favorable rates. We want to run our ads on your site for about a penny per. Maybe even less. While everybody else is paying $50 or on that pay scale, them fools probably going to be paying pennies on the dollar and getting massive amount of views. Nasty work. But again, y'all didn't care because you were making money off of it. Y'all were getting all this money all this charm, all this. Y'all were ending up on Fox News. All these companies, all of them, you all use them. I don't use BP no more. I go to Kroger and get my gas, or I go to Chevron. Y'all have no scruples. How many of y'all still got Dell computers? Look, all y'all who about to go buy that Madden game, there you go. Restrict free speech. Can't wait till I start. Y'all got to see this list, family. Y'all, I can't wait until you start hearing reports on Madden 25 that players are getting banned for cursing and then claiming that it's kids. They got to protect the children. I haven't bought commercial cereal in years. Look, who wants some Swedish, which is hilarious? Who wants some Swedish furniture? Because this whole situation was him and Sidney Watson and all these other people putting up a post saying that a migrant did something to a Swedish girl who was 12. And he wanted to put it out there, forgetting that Europe has their own standard that Elon follows regarding exploitation. They didn't think of that. They didn't realize that. They said it's news. They figured they were going to hide behind the First Amendment, and it didn't work. He said, nope, banned. I have an Acer. They're not on this list, so that's good. Yes, my next one I'm going to build. Kellanova. We know what that is. We know what that is. There you go. Who like their corn flakes? Who like frosted flakes? Huh? Who like Cheez-Its? Hey, Taco Bell started their Cheez-It campaign. Who on that? Who's still eating Eggos? I already told my old lady, no more Eggos. We're going to get them Kodiak pancakes. She finna love it. I don't know about my kid. We might make her fresh ones. I ain't sure yet. I might have to get a new waffle iron. Who's still eating Nutri-Grain bars? Who's still eating Pringles? They're really not chips, by the way. Who's still eating Pop-Tarts and Rice Krispie treats? Now, this is North America, so maybe they might have not included Frosted Flakes. They say they don't want Tony the Tiger. That's kind of fucked up. Who's still buying? Now that I see this, I ain't buying no more Heinz ketchup. I'm finna make my own. I don't like Hunt's. It has a bad aftertaste. This list is from the World Federation of Advertisers. This is who they work with. All these brands. American Express. Who got the black card? Bayer. I know it helps you save when you get a heart attack, but let's not have heart attacks. Let's check our health, men and women, please. There you go. Mickey D's. Haven't had Mickey D's in months. Microsoft sucks because it's on my computer, but you know, it's either that or I get a Mac. And I don't really like Macs too tough. Nike, Lord. There you go. Nike went woke though. Red Bull, never had one. Look. Well. Howard Stern's under the wing. There you go. I don't mean Laura Loomer. I'm talking about the actual Howard Stern. Look, Sony can't. Sony is hilarious. I saw a MasterCard. I got Visa. I bet you Visa's on here. Visa's not on here. I'm shocked. They usually follow MasterCard. Wait, actually, no, I tell a lie. My Citibank credit cards are MasterCard. Shit. That's why I'm trying to pay him off. Roblox. Who got kids? Roblox. Shell Gas. Stop using them too because they're too damn expensive. There go Coca-Cola. Spotify. Joe Rogan's under the wing, family. The Walt Disney Company, TikTok, Twitch, X, Unilever, YouTube, of course. Walmart. I don't even go to Walmart. I think my old man. Who got Verizon? No wonder y'all paying so much high prices.
Bro, what you on?
Well, there you go, family. We'll put that in there so you can Smucker's jelly. Who's still eating Smucker's jelly in 2024? Y'all getting down on that Smuckers? You know what sucks about this whole list, though, family? A lot of these products and companies we grew up with. Hewlett Packard. Like, these are childhood. Chanel bag. Who got a Chanel bag? Your Chanel bag not only is being used for child labor, but is now a partner in restricting free speech. Yo 103 Queen and loves. She knows ball. You said Fios is great. I didn't see the appeal. My cousins had it. I didn't see the difference, but you got it. Adidas. Who got the shell toes? Throw out your shell toes. The Adidas group. Why is your socks like that? All right. I'm sure them conservatives are gonna get pissed on that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's see who's on their supervisory board. Let's see. Why? Oh, black woman. There you go. Legend. Only black person represented on here. Jackie Jordan Kersey's under the wing, family. See? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They finna lose their minds. I always wonder where she went. But there you go. And back for the mamas and the daddies. There you go. They're under the wing too. That's nasty. Kellogg's instant noodles, that's nasty. But this must be international stuff. That is disgusting. That's a crazy picture right there. But there's that. We be telling them, family, that the woke be telling them. They don't listen. I don't know why. Well, let's go to Hotep Goldstein's video.
Jeremy from the Quartering is a prostitute. He's been on.
Well, damn. He ain't even wait.
Who said I wanted this?
So, Valley. Motherfucker.
Redmond.
Valley. Said they so, Valley.
Damn. He just said he a prostitute right out the gate. Let's get it. We like it.
Jeremy from the Quartering is a prostitute. He's been a whore for some time now, but nothing illustrates that quite like what he just got himself into. And make no mistake about it, Jeremy, you got yourself into this, your goddamn self, right? You did this to you. No one's doing this to you. This is not an attack on your freedoms or any of that dumbass shit. You can't show child exploitation. I don't give a damn if it was blurred. I don't care. Just keep it off the fucking site altogether, right? Now, you may say, well, no one would believe it if we didn't show it. Maybe, but who the fuck cares, right? Who cares? The people that believe it, believe it. The people that don't, won't, regardless of if you show it or not. They'll find some justification to be like, well, this is what it is. And so while it may not be something I would do, it is what it is, right? I mean, people wrap their heads around all kinds of stupid shit on a daily, like your show, right? But yeah, you guys got to quit doing this shit, right? You're showing images of fucking people peeing on each other in baby pools out in public and all kinds of other nonsense. If it wasn't for the conservative party, people on the left who do degenerate shit wouldn't have half the following that they do. None of us would know about Dylan Mulvaney if it wasn't for Matt Walsh, right?
Facts.
He would have been here today, gone tomorrow.
Facts.
And you give voice to dumb motherfuckers too, on the opposite end of that. But just as it pertains to child exploitation and all this sick, degenerate shit that you motherfuckers whore yourselves out daily by showing on a fucking social media platform for millions of motherfuckers who otherwise would have never seen the shit to see the shit, you're all prostitutes. You don't do it for the fucking sake of getting the word out. You do it for the fucking clicks, right? How much of this did you put on Facebook, Jeremy? How much of this shit is on Instagram, Jeremy? Huh? You do it here because you get paid. You do it on Twitter because Elon incentivizes this type of sick shit. And yeah, he's going to break you off as a result of it. He's going to suspend your ass, right? But all you had to do was take the shit down. What did you do? You left it up so you can go back to your channel on YouTube and beg for fucking money.
When I showed you the video of Jeremy, you may not remember. He showed it. He did it hella quick, though. But Sidney Watson's post was still up. His post was still up. That's why they got locked out. Because I've been locked out of my account before, and they tell you you can restore your account as long as you take it down. So if this is your way of protesting, that would be dumb because now nobody knows what you're talking about. And he can craft any narrative he wants now. All he has to say is, I'm complying by Europe's rules. By the way, Jeremy, I bet you didn't tell your audience that he actually has about 111 million people as of January 2024 that use it in the UK and the European Union. That's a big swath of the market. You think he was going to give that up to appease you assholes? He can deal in euros.
That's what you did. You wanted to portray yourself as a goddamn martyr when in all actuality, you're just a hooker. People need to wake up to that fact. Jeremy, you're a hooker. And that's all you'll ever be. I'm fine with you being a hooker, by the way. If that's what you want to do, hey, more power to you. But leave the children out of it, Jeremy. Leave the children out of your prostitution. For Christ's sakes, man. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Look at the Hotel Ghosty. I'm finna play it again.
Jeremy from the quartering is a prostitute. He's been a whore for some time now, but nothing illustrates that quite like what he just got himself into. And make no mistake about it, Jeremy, you got yourself into this, your goddamn self, right? You did this to you. No one's doing this to you. This is not an attack on your freedoms or any of that dumbass shit. You can't show child exploitation. I don't give a damn if it was blurred. I don't care. Just keep it off the fucking site altogether, right? Now, you may say, well, no one would believe it if we didn't show it. Maybe, but who the fuck cares, right? Who cares? The people that believe it,
things
believe
started.
it. The people
As soon
that
as it's
don't,
finished, we're gonna
won't.
jump into this.
Regardless of if you show it or not. They'll find some justification to be like, well, this is what it is. And so while it may not be something I would do, it is what it is, right? I mean, people wrap their heads around all kinds of stupid shit on a daily, like your show, right? But yeah, you guys got to quit doing this shit, right? You're showing images of fucking people peeing on each other in baby pools out in public and all kinds of other nonsense. If it wasn't for the conservative party, people on the
percent. Unilever wrote to Garm's leader that the company had, quote, issues with overtly partisan takes by Elon Musk. The example Unilever gave was Elon Musk handling of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Unilever had a problem with Elon Musk releasing internal Twitter documents to journalists and exposing how and why Twitter incorrectly suppressed the story about the Biden's family influence peddling. It's the Twitter files. Garm and its members threaten platforms that don't comply. And the best example is Spotify's, Joe Rogan's comments on Spotify when Joe Rogan's comments about the COVID-19 vaccine. To be clear, any of these companies could, on their own, legally refuse to advertise on a certain platform or news outlet or with a certain content creator. Unilateral decisions are not illegal. But if they choose to pull advertising from the Daily Wire or other similar outlets, they will not be reaching millions of Americans who choose to consume that content, but their competitors will. In other words, no single company can unilaterally pull its advertising dollars off a platform or news outlet over a long period of time because that company's competitors will advertise and reach the audience. It's called the market. Ørsted, a Danish renewable energy company, explained it perfectly when its employees wrote an email to Garm asking when the Twitter boycott will end. Ørsted told Garm that Twitter, quote, is an important platform for us to reach our audience, so we would like to consider going back. But they looked to Garm for direction, and they were asking Garm for permission. And frankly, that's exactly how cartels operate. They collude against conservatives and other outlets, platforms, and content creators. In fact, they come right out and say it. Garm's leader wrote that the issue with the advertising industry and digital platforms is the, quote, extreme global interpretation of the U.S. Constitution. He also complained taking U.S. norms and applying them globally is something that's a concern and said there's a problem with Americans' 230-year-old Constitution. If the WFA and GARM are allowed to continue. If these massive companies can collude without consequences, the results will be devastating. If this cartel continues to target conservative outlets, content creators with different voices and viewpoints, and any person that does not recite the so-called mainstream media talking points, there'll be real problems. They will deprive these good journalists and content creators of the funding they need to succeed. They will use their cartel to eliminate competition based on internal biases of these massive companies, and they will deprive Americans of the content that they actually want to consume. With that, I would yield to the ranking member for an opening statement.
Mr. Chairman, this hearing has nothing to do with antitrust laws, since the majority's allegations wither under even the most basic antitrust analysis. This is instead another dangerous effort by the majority to bully companies into promoting and supporting far-right extremist views, views that brands understandably do not want to be associated with. In this case, the majority seeks to undermine companies' First Amendment rights and to make it harder for them to avoid monetizing online and offline harm through advertising. This includes harm like the creation and distribution of exploitative images and videos of children, the promotion of terrorism and funding of terrorist organizations, the promotion and distribution of foreign propaganda
Oh,
materials.
Lord. What do you think X is doing? Let me shut up.
Racist, hateful,
Let me
and
shut up.
discriminatory content. Under the majority's theory of supposed antitrust harm, advertisers who do not want their expensive ad campaigns placed next to hate speech, pirated copyrighted material, foreign propaganda, and other harmful content are, quote, colluding to demonetize so-called conservative content. Under the majority's theory, the only way to cure this alleged harm would be for advertisers to be forced to run ads on platforms like Twitter, now known as X, Truth Social, Breitbart, and the Daily Wire, even though those sites are rife with adult content, hate speech, false information, misinformation, and racist and violent propaganda. Further undermining this claim of harm, the so-called victims of this made-up scheme are well supported by ad revenue, subscriber revenue, and sales revenue. Take the Daily Wire, the media outlet run by Republican witness Ben Shapiro. Its website generated $220 million last year. His show is the 13th most popular podcast in the first quarter of 2024. His website has over 15 million followers across his main social media handles, including on sites that are members of the Global Alliance for Responsible Media.
Oh, by the way, I just saw a post.
Target of today's hearing. And the Daily Wire.
I just heard a post. I just saw a post that said X is testing the dislike button. Here we go.
Is a member of GARM than any other news publisher by a wide margin in 2021. And even the video in which Mr. Shapiro claims to be the victim of global advertising organizations was itself supported by advertising revenue and is available on YouTube, a member of GARM. This hardly sounds like the victim of a conspiracy.
Damn.
But Mr. Shapiro's content is not alone. Many so-called conservative brands have made notable gains in corporate reputation among consumers, and several brands that call themselves anti-woke have entered the market to cater to customers who wish to vote with their wallet. Advertisers have the right to target their ads to the platforms, websites, and venues they choose. By forcing advertisers to run ads on websites that they deem to contain harmful information and content, the majority would be undermining those companies' right to free speech under the First Amendment. It's also an essential tenet of a free market that companies are not forced to do business with anyone. And indeed, a competitive online environment is necessary for advertisers to easily choose where and how their ads are rolled out. Historically, this committee has worked hard to protect consumers, ensure a free and fair market, and
amen.
Corporate abuse, greed, and malfeasance.
You dumb mother.
Advanced bipartisan bills to combat market concentration, from online platforms to drug pricing. We did all this because we took our job seriously, to protect competition in the marketplace. We understood the unique importance of the federal antitrust laws, not as a weapon to use against our political opponents, but as an essential component of the American social contract. Unfortunately, this majority has picked a different direction. Under the direction of the chair, the committee is abusing its oversight authority. The Republicans are so committed to the belief that conservative content, in quotes, is being censored, despite all evidence to the contrary, that they will do anything to undermine the efforts
Oh my
of
God, this is the greatest
platforms
thing
to
ever.
moderate their own content, which the Supreme Court recently affirmed is an exercise of their First Amendment rights. Governments to communicate with platforms about security threats, online and offline crime and terrorism, and mis and disinformation that threatens our nation's health and democracy, and companies to choose where and how to advertise their products. This hearing is the result of a 15-month investigation that has resulted in over 37 productions to the committee of more than 175,000 pages and one transcribed interview. I can only assume that the reason the majority has not asked GARM, the main target of this investigation, to send a witness here today, is that the majority knows there is no evidence to support their claim of wrongdoing. It was designed to make companies afraid to speak to each other about the real connection between the online monetization of criminal and harmful content and the funding of offline harm. Make no mistake, the companies represented here today and the others that are part of GARM want, first and foremost, for customers to see their ads where and when they expect them and to make purchases based on those ads.
Damn.
But secondly and importantly, they do not want their expensive ad campaigns to fund people, one, who pirate content, two, who promote and execute terrorist acts, three, who make and distribute harmful and exploitive images of children, and four, others who use the internet to distribute and fund crime. Republicans are so determined to prove the conspiracy theory that conservative content is being censored that they will do anything, including launching a fruitless and harmful investigation to bully companies that do not hold their views. I hope that we will get back to doing the serious work of the American people very soon, and not continue to waste taxpayer dollars on fishing expeditions designed to help hate and criminal activity spread on and offline. Thank the witnesses for appearing today, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back without objection. All of their opening statements will be included in the record. We now introduce today's witnesses. Mr. Christian Jewell is the global CEO of Group M, one of the world's largest media buying agencies with more than $60 billion in annual media spending. Group M's agencies and subdivisions include Mindshare, Wavemaker, Essence, Mediacom, TNPM, and others. Mr. Harish Patel is the president of Unilever USA and CEO of Unilever's Personal Care North America division. As CEO of Personal Care North America, Mr. Patel oversees brands including Dove, Degree, and Axe, among others. Mr. Benjamin Shapiro is the host of The Ben Shapiro Show, a daily political podcast and radio show. He's also the editor emeritus of The Daily Wire.
Oh my God, you made Ben Shapiro.
2015.
Bro, we might have to speed up the video.
Events, routinely speaks at conferences, colleges, and universities.
Oh,
and
good God, you got Ben Shapiro there. Bro, this is about to be comedy.
$220 million a year, 13th most popular podcast, and 15 million followers. Imagine what he can do if GARM wasn't targeting The Daily Wire. And finally, we have Mr. Spencer Waller. Is the Justice John Paul Stevens Chair in Competition Law and Professor and Director of the Institute for Consumer Antitrust Studies at Loyola University, Chicago School of Law. Professor Waller's courses and research focus on antitrust, class actions, innovation, and intellectual property. Welcome our witnesses and thank them for appearing today.
We'll
begin by swearing you in. Would you please rise and raise your right hand?
Oh, Lord.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God?
I'm going to cut this part out.
Let the record reflect that the witnesses have answered in the affirmative. Thank you. Please be seated. Please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask that you summarize your testimony in 5 minutes. Mr. Jewell, we will begin with you.
Drink your expensive
Chairman Jordan,
coffee.
Ranking Member Nadler, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Christian Jewell. I'm the Global Chief Executive Officer of Group M, the media investment company. In simple terms, we buy ad space across channels, including television, digital, and print.
Now why?
Our clients place
Ben
ads
Shapiro
within that
gonna
space.
play forever victim.
Brands tell us the message they want to share and the audience they want to target. We then advertise on which media environments would be best suited for the product and buy ad space on those channels on the brand's behalf. Collectively, brands invest billions of dollars in advertising annually to shape how they are perceived. One of the marketers' biggest fears is that years of brand value could evaporate overnight as a consequence of bad ad placement. Companies spending millions of advertising dollars do not want to risk their brand on a strategy that could backfire. Brands consistently inform us as their agency that they do not want to advertise
Make
next
sure
to hot
y'all hit
button
the
or classic
like.
content. They want predictable, reliable environments. In 2017, news outlets reported that major brands were unwittingly advertising next to ISIS propaganda. Unsurprisingly, they faced significant consumer pushback. Brands also had to contend with reports of Russian troll farms infiltrating platforms to disrupt presidential elections. And most recently, brands had to develop advertising strategies in the context of a pandemic that divided Americans.
Here we go.
This resulted in a growing emphasis on brand suitability, or marketers' desire to protect their brand's value by ensuring their ads are not placed adjacent to content that could negatively affect their reputation. Brand suitability is particular to each brand. What is unsuitable to one may be perfectly suitable to another. But all brands generally agree they do not want to appear next to illegal or harmful content. Many also seek to avoid ad placements near content that, while not illegal, does not align with their values. With the increasing focus on brand suitability, brands wanted to better understand how publishers were identifying, prohibiting, and removing harmful content. What they found was that every platform took a different approach. Definitions of harmful content also varied. Without consistent standards, companies were concerned their ads would end up appearing in unsuitable environments. We believe that consistent standards were needed to help our clients.
Are you talking about Edgar Friendly?
Which is why we and other organizations came together to establish the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, or GARM. GARM developed standard definitions of content that brands might consider unsuitable so that advertisers and publishers could speak a common language about sensitive content. Adoption of GARM's definitions is, and always has been, completely voluntary.
Now, what's your definition of what is a woman?
We follow our clients' ad placement wishes according to their risk tolerances and priorities. These priorities can shift quickly. It's our job to execute their strategy with speed and precision. We leverage GARM's definitions to provide our clients with a consistent, reliable framework. Group M is not the arbiter of how to categorize websites, nor do we want to be. Because we have no control over publishers and no role in moderating content, we also rely on independent third parties to identify domains with those definitions and additional categories that our clients deem unsuitable. Among other things, those third parties consider media platforms' fact-checking resources, processes, and technologies when they evaluate the risks of placing content. That third-party assessment informs where we will place ads, including the sites to which we will not place ads without specific client request. Of note, approximately 94% of those websites are prescribed because they infringe on IP rights. This committee expressed an interest in advertising on certain news platforms. We appreciate the importance of funding news organizations through advertising, which is why we have taken steps to make advertising in news, including local news, more appealing to advertisers. Today, however, trust in news sites is at a low point, and brands generally disfavor advertising next to news. For example, only 1.28% of brand spend is allocated to online news at this point. This is because brands prefer to avoid advertising alongside common news content, war, scandal, political division, and also because they do not need to advertise there to reach their target audience. Alternatives such as sports and entertainment provide a better way to reach these same consumers. This is not a left, right, or Group M preference. It is apolitical, it's an industry-wide preference. Group M has no interest in impinging on anyone's right to speak or publish their points of view. We also believe companies have the right to choose where they place their advertisements. We all know how one bad ad placement can damage a company's reputation and bottom line, which is why brands and the companies like Group M that serve them.
Soul Survivor, he's actually talking real shit. I'm not going to jigglypuff him.
Thank you. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Joel. Mr. Patel, you're recognized. Make sure that mic's on and pull it real close.
He broke the mic. He broke the fucking mic. How do you break the mic?
Chairman Jordan.
There you go.
Ranking Member Nedler and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to discuss Unilever's approach to purchasing advertising that promotes over 400 different brands.
Yes.
Used by more than 3 billion people every day in more than 190 countries around the world. Unilever takes great care to ensure that our advertisements
Horse call in 7 years
use
ago.
our products, promote our products and brands, and serve our business goals of offering consumers
the whole
brands
of the
they know
American
and
Congress.
their needs
Talk
every day.
your stuff.
In making
and
decisions on
watch
advertising,
the whip.
Unilever uses its advertising dollars to reach as many consumers as we can in an environment that
Let
maximizes
him
sales for our
speak
products.
to Americans. He's a
Currently, about
compatriot.
80% of our US advertising spend is directed in some form of digital media.
Unilever
spend the most on
is the
digital
goat.
commerce platforms like Amazon, Walmart, Target, and Walgreens, because that's where consumers are making their buying decisions.
Lever 2000.
Only
Have
20%
you ever
of
used
Unilever's
it,
advertising
sir?
spending goes to social media
You know,
platforms.
you black
And less than
Americans
1%
use
goes to digital
Dove.
news.
Yes.
We want to reach all our consumers who use our brands on platforms that support and align with our brands. Conversely, being associated with content or a platform that detracts from our brands, harms our brands, or is inconsistent with our brands is decidedly not in our economic interest. With the rise of user-generated social media content and other online media, we have unfortunately seen repeated incidents where our brands have been associated with content that is harmful to our brands. One earlier example, ads from our Dove soap were appearing adjacent to content glorifying domestic violence and rape. In 2020, we suspended social media advertising when it became clear that the polarizing content would not serve the brands or add value to the brand places in the market. I want to be very clear on one crucially important fact. Unilever, and Unilever alone, controls our advertising spending.
Correct.
No platform has the right to our advertising dollars.
Yes.
As we look across the available advertising inventory, recognizing we do not have unlimited money to spend on advertising, we choose the channels, the platforms, and the outlets that give us the greatest commercial benefit.
Would you like to advertise with the new black media, sir?
We have internal policies and guides on our decisions. Our policies require our advertisement to be truthful, accurate, and transparent. In 2018, we adopted a responsible framework specifically for digital advertising, focusing on advertising towards responsible platforms. Specifically, focusing on advertising towards responsible platforms, responsible content, and responsible infrastructure. We have a dedicated team of professionals who are constantly examining the advertising marketplace, working with platforms, selecting the platforms that meet our business needs. We also worked with the industry, including the Global Alliance of Responsible Media. GARM arose after leading advertisers observed that ads for their brand name products were appearing alongside despicable content. GARM's brand safety flaw and suitability framework are tools to help platforms communicate clearly about the content they will monetize and to assist advertisers and agencies in making decisions about advertising inventory and they will purchase. Although we've made good progress in ensuring that our digital advertising spend is advancing our brand's business objectives, there is still more work to be done.
Yes.
As recently as 2 years ago, Unilever received notice that certain ads from brands had been unknowingly placed adjacent to social media profiles involved in selling and soliciting child sexual abuse material. This is wholly unacceptable.
Hold up your pinkies. Yes.
We must do everything in our power as both advertisers and platforms that ensures our advertising dollars are serving the intended purpose of reaching consumers and promoting our brands, not funding hate and harm. And I would be happy to respond to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Mr. Shapiro, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
I shall take my leave. Yes, I just wanted to support. Here we go.
Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Nadler, members of the committee, good morning.
I need
First
all
of all,
this.
Ranking Member Nadler, I appreciate the kind words about our business.
Gonna take forever
It's
to
very
talk.
kind of you. And also, I assume that we'd be doing a lot better without the institutional obstacles that I'm about to
Oh, hell
discuss.
no. You
We're in the
already
midst of a
started
trust
slow?
crisis
Hell
in the world of
no.
media, which is because so many in the legacy media have lied in order to preserve left-leaning narratives. To take just the most
There
recent
you
example,
go.
we were told by the legacy media that President Biden was just fine. For years, anyone who questioned his health and mental fitness was trafficking in cheap
Listen,
fakes.
he sounds like
And then
a
President
forever
Biden went out and
victim.
engaged in a full-scale mental collapse on stage in front of hundreds of millions of people. So we can see why Americans, at least Americans who are not Democrats, do not trust the media. The question isn't really why the legacy media have lost Americans' trust. We know that answer. The question is why, despite that loss of trust, the legacy media continue to gain share in the advertising market. And the answer is simple. There is, in fact, an informal pressure system created by Democratic legislators, this White House, legacy media, advertisers, and pseudo-objective brand safety organizations. That system guarantees that advertising dollars flow only to left-wing media brands. Let me explain how this works.
Listen to
When a conservative
him.
competitor to the legacy media arises, members of that legacy media and their political allies rush to paint such competitors as dangerous. The commentator Kara Swisher of the New York Times, for example, told the head of YouTube that my videos at Daily Wire were a, quote, gateway drug that would lead children, including her own teenage son, to watch neo-Nazi content. Never mind the yarmulke. Elected Democrats pick up that same messaging.
Bro,
In
you don't wanna go
2017,
down
Senator
that
Dianne
history
Feinstein
lesson.
told lawyers at Facebook
It flagged me.
Google and Twitter, quote, you created these platforms and now they're being misused, and you have to be the ones to do something about it, or we will. Social media companies react to incentive structures, including threats. They've responded by adopting the standards of third-party left-wing informational safety groups like the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, or GARM. GARM reportedly sets brand safety standards, objective standards by which advertisers and platforms can supposedly determine just what sort of content ought to be deemed safe for advertising. In reality, GARM acts as a cartel. Its members account for 90% of ad spending in the United States, almost $1 trillion. In other words, if you're not getting ad dollars from GARM members, it's nearly impossible to run an ad-based business. And if you're not following their preferred political narratives, the ones that Kara Swisher and Dianne Feinstein would follow, you will not be deemed brand safe. Your business will be throttled. We at Daily Wire have experienced this firsthand. In 2017, after Senator Feinstein made her threats to bring the weight of government down on social media platforms, Daily Wire YouTube channel saw a 1,000% increase in content enforcements over a 2-year period. Since 2021, after Democrat officials further turned up the heat on social media companies, my personal Facebook page has seen an over 80% drop in impressions. Or take Joe Rogan. When Joe said that he had taken ivermectin after getting COVID, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki pressured Spotify to take action, stating, quote, we want every platform to be doing more to call out mis- and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information. Spotify complied. Spotify, of course, works with GARM. So what are the brand safety standards that GARM uses? The standards begin with inarguable things that we've heard from the other witnesses, like preventing distribution of child sexual abuse material or stopping terrorism. But GARM doesn't draw the line at what is criminal, abusive, or dangerous. Their standards also include restrictions on hate speech, harassment, misinformation, or my personal favorite, insensitive, irresponsible, and harmful treatment of debated sensitive social issues. Those criteria are highly subjective in theory, and they are purely partisan in practice. For example, last year, Daily Wire host Matt Walsh was fully demonetized on YouTube, a GARM member. Why? For quote-unquote misgendering, which to GARM is to say that men are not women. It's perfectly obvious facts now run afoul of GARM's censorship standards.
Hang on.
Companies targeted by GARM, like
it's not fair that Joy Reid can get Burger King money and I can't even get a Whopper. It's not fair that Disney can advertise with ABC News, but I cannot get a Marvel Studios ad, even if it's 5 seconds, on my platform, because they don't want to deal with me. I watch The Mandalorian as well. Did y'all forget that I read out the lyrics to WAP? I went viral for that. It's not fair. This is how he sounds.
Speaks about targeting
and I screwed up.
Corporate responsibility because they are too tolerant of misinformation. He knows what he is doing. He is participating in a sophisticated coercive campaign against free speech.
Here we go.
Congresswoman Jayapal blames social media for placing America at the, quote, precipice of a democratic crisis and calls on them to target, they deem, hate groups. She also knows what she is doing. She is participating in a sophisticated coercive campaign against free speech.
You mean like when
Congressman Hank Johnson says, quote, we need a constitutional amendment to allow the legislature to control the so-called free speech rights of corporations. He also knows what he is doing. We all know what these government actors, what some people in this room are doing. You're using the tacit threat of government action to compel private companies to throttle viewpoints you don't particularly like. Grounds by elected official, it was directed at Congress, at you, and you're abdicating your fundamental duty when you exert pressure on private companies to censor speech. Some in this room have been doing just that for years. We in the non-legacy media have been feeling the effects.
Legacy
in the name of
media.
the Constitution
Who the hell
and
is
the name
legacy
of
media,
democracy,
sir?
this should stop.
Sir, wait,
Mr. Shapiro, we now is Professor Waller.
Hold on. Ben Shapiro, when the hell were you legacy media?
Members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present my views to you today. I am speaking solely in my personal capacity. I do not represent GARM or any of its member firms. I am concerned that the antitrust issues relating to today's hearings and the letters and document requests sent to the various companies do not conform to a consensus understanding of U.S. antitrust law by most courts and commentators. I only have access to publicly available information, so I cannot opine on whether there is or is not any specific antitrust violation. Instead, I present a roadmap of the many antitrust issues that would need to be addressed in a serious way before any real antitrust concerns exist in this matter. It's important to note that most members of GARM do not compete with each other, and each has unique needs for marketing and branding, including as the other witnesses have already testified, having effective marketing.
Did you know that
campaigns
my wife
and,
is a doctor?
doing their best to avoid any harmful associations
still ain't
that
gonna
damage the
advertise with
brand
you,
or
man.
simply drive away purchasers.
We got Gina
with
Carano.
respect to the
She left Disney.
diverse coalition of firms
We have
in
Hercules
GARM. For example,
and Superman.
Microsoft does not compete with McDonald's.
We got a new Superman,
Procter
and we're
&
coming out with
Gamble,
another Hercules movie. Now
or
shut up and leave us
Unilever
alone.
don't compete with Shell, a pharmaceutical company, or Group M. And also, these firms do not generally compete with content providers such as Mr. Shapiro. Now, the activities of GARM do not appear from publicly available information to be a cartel as that term is understood in antitrust law. And
Now you're
cartels
talking about
are a
cartels.
serious concern of antitrust laws,
Beautiful.
but they normally involve an agreement between competitors to fix prices, rig bids, limit production, divide
bids.
markets, or otherwise interfere with quality, production, innovation.
Talk your shit.
And, instead, what we're talking about is the development of terms and definitions. They call it a lexicon. It is in some ways sort of like a dictionary. These terms do not affect the price, production, or quality of the goods and services sold by the members of GARM. Advertisers, media buyers, advertising agencies may or may not rely on the GARM terminology and may adopt any other criteria to determine how and where to place advertising. This is done in a public process. Everything is published and available to you. And this is very different from the secretive processes by which traditional cartels meet to create and enforce their unlawful agreements. In addition, there are, on its face, legitimate business justifications that the firms would be asserting, including protecting brand images and successful marketing strategies. These are two types of business justifications that are routinely considered in antitrust cases. And characterizing GARM's conduct as a boycott doesn't really change the antitrust analysis in any important way. Group boycotts are only per se unlawful when they're used to implement some otherwise unlawful cartel agreement, or where firms with market power collectively deny a competitor access to some key source of supply it needs to survive. Separate from the traditional antitrust analysis that I've outlined in my opening statement and in my remarks and in my witness statement, the First Amendment and the interests of free expression also limit the application of antitrust laws in important ways. The Norr-Pennington Doctrine immunizes conduct that seeks to influence government action and public policy through a variety of techniques, including publicity campaigns. In short, an agreement by firms, if there is an agreement, is not an antitrust violation if it's designed to influence governmental action at any level of the government: federal, state, local, legislative, judicial, or executive branch. In addition, the Supreme Court and the lower courts have shown a separate and special caution for applying the antitrust laws to impose liability for political and social boycotts, even if that's what's going on, even if there is a degree of economic self-interest by the groups conducting the boycott. One example is that the Supreme Court has held that the First Amendment protects the civil rights boycott of white merchants in Mississippi by the NAACP, even though some other businesses may well have prospered or.
What the place is rocking,
committee's expressed concerns over the conduct examined today are not consistent with the consensus view of the antitrust law set forth in the leading cases. I agree with the chair that an individual decision to do business or not to do business is not covered by Section 1 of the Sherman Act. However, in addition to the lack of the other issues and evidence from the public available information, there are significant First Amendment implications raised by the actions of GARM. And these First Amendment issues suggest that even if the antitrust laws were fully justified and every issue in the antitrust roadmap were satisfied, there would be a plausible argument that the conduct was protected as a matter of speech and free implication. And I'm running out of time, but I also want to suggest that the policy implications of imposing antitrust liability in these circumstances should be quite concerning, regardless of one's political views. A leading treatise published by the ABA Antitrust
Lord.
states,
I thought you said you ran out of time. You still talking.
About social
Come on, let's get to the show.
Advancing political,
I want to hear the
religious,
yelling.
or other non-commercial goals. And using the antitrust laws to challenge expressive conduct can interfere with commonplace forms of advocacy that are used by consumers, religious groups, political groups of all policy and persuasions. As a result, I do not see any benefit from further legislative action on these issues.
Thank you, Professor. We will now
Who the hell was
proceed under
doing
the 5-minute rule with questions. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I find myself a bit conflicted. I agree with both Mr. Waller and Mr. Shapiro on matters that they've mentioned. I mean, first of all, no matter how much gaslighting we've heard this morning, it's clear to me from the internal communications in the committee's report that GARM's objectives are clearly political, to use its influence among its members to suppress free speech and to financially harm outlets in which the leadership disagrees. I don't see any other reading
Over 100 people hit the
those
lie.
communications that reaches any other conclusion. It's a manifestation of the ESG movement that has financially harmed so many companies that practice it. And there is a huge economic price to be paid for this conduct. Go woke, go broke is more than just a slogan. It's an economic fact. I mean, ask Disney, ask Budweiser.
Sure, y'all were,
they pay the companies, I think, in GARM's case, are risking missing huge swaths of the market that they're seeking to reach. They pay a
y'all were the same ones that were celebrating that cake maker out in Colorado who said he wasn't gonna make cakes for gay people. Now y'all complaining that big multi-billion-dollar companies don't want to advertise with assholes. All right.
Until they launched their Men Are Pigs campaign in 2017, I haven't bought a Gillette product since. But that's their right as a company to alienate me as a consumer. What the hell? Now, if I were a stockholder in GARM's member companies, I would be absolutely livid. I'd either be raising hell at stockholder meetings or withdrawing my investments or both. If I were a manager in any of these companies, I'd be livid also, and I'd be canceling my membership in GARM with a strong letter to follow. But here's the fine point of the matter. It's a beef between the company's stockholders and their management. It's a beef between GARM's member companies and GARM. It's a beef between those companies and their consumers. But it is not a beef between GARM or its member companies or their stockholders and consumers and this government.
Bullshit.
People have a right to their opinions and to express those opinions in any peaceful manner that they choose.
Boy, here we
Companies are simply a collection of people gathered together
We're trying to learn some shit, and here they come. Jesus,
make money or advance a political
Jesus, you got to be.
It's a little amusing to see that
it would be behooved you to shut up and not say anything.
In GARM's case, it benefits them.
Who said we were voting Democrat here?
When it comes to such matters as Citizens United.
I'm actually going to give you grace. I'm actually more interested in what they're doing here than you. Give me 10 minutes. I dare you to show up here and tell me how we're still voting Democrat.
Consumers vote every day with every dollar they spend on what the market will produce, who best produces it, what they're willing to pay, and who they'll buy it from. A free government exists to protect this right. And that's why I think we should be careful when we tread into this matter in the application of government power in disputes that are strictly between private parties. But I do think Mr. Shapiro is absolutely correct that if this government is in any way acting to pressure or nudge companies to censor speech or to corrupt their business decisions for political ends, we ought to vigorously act to stop that. But if they're just doing that to themselves, that's their right to make stupid decisions, and government also exists to protect that right. Mr. Shapiro, I'll give you the last word.
I mean, I agree with much of what you're saying.
Here we
I think
go.
that the big concern for the Daily Wire and companies like ours is the nexus between government action and groups like GARM. And it appears clear to us that a well-meaning organization that simply wanted to appeal to the broadest possible audience would not be making political decisions about which outlets are too right or which outlets are too left. I'm perfectly fine with advertisers advertising on Pod Save America or on MSNBC. The problem that we have is an informal structure by which members of government, including this White House, have pressured social media companies in order to restrict their content. And everyone can see that. There's a lot of, will no one rid me of this meddlesome priest going on from members of the government who then seem to be shocked when there's pushback from the right on exactly the same sort of matter.
What?
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The ranking members recognized for 5 minutes.
Nobody told you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, as the Global Alliance for...
Okay. You know what? I'm going to leave it on in the back.
Media.
Jesus, I click that link because now you done got my ire up. Click that link. Because I love how Ben Shapiro's sitting up here lying. Before I get back to Jesus, I love how he's sitting up here lying that they can't get advertising dollars yet. I see conservatives getting HelloFresh. I see them getting Omaha Steaks. Oh, I get it. You want those mega corporation dollars. That's what y'all want. So they're not allowed to advertise with who they want to. They have to be open to everybody. But then y'all be the same ones when one of them companies, quote unquote, go woke, you want all their advertising gone. There we go. Told you, family. Jesus, come up here and tell me about Thomas Sowell one time. Please. I want to hear this. Please come tell me about Thomas Sowell. Click that link. It's up on the top. Click it. I help you. We'll put it in there again. Come up here and tell me about Thomas Sowell one time. Come tell me about this government operative called Thomas Sowell. Please. I would love to hear about this. FBA Queen, they're not ready for that. If you think Thomas Sowell is one of the smartest black men in history, you need your head examined. But we finna do it for you today. Click that link. Come up here and tell me how smart he is. He ain't no operative. I bet you I could prove it to you. Since you say you do research, I'll prove it to you. They actually did, sir. I thought you did this research, so you're going to tell me white men didn't show up in Africa. Here we go. Here we go. White men never showed up in Africa. Let me get, which black conservative told you that? I'd wager a bet probably Officer Tatum. Come on. Show everybody this black and brown coalition. Come up here. Come have an argument. Come have a debate with a black man, Mr. Brown man. Come up here. Let's go. Great. African kings did it too. So did Europe. Come on. Let's go. Let's have a chat. Come here. Stop talking in the chat. You can come up here. You can say whatever you want. My crowd, I'll tell you, I'm very fair. Come up here. No, don't insult him now. We don't want to scare him off. Come up here, Jesus. You ain't got to look at the chat no more. You can lock it off when you come up here. Come up here. Correct, there were white slaves. Come up here and tell us about these white slaves one time. Come on. Come show me this research. I would love for you to tell me stuff I don't know about the Barbary pirates. Please. I would love for you to tell me about the Irish indentured servants in the Caribbean. Please. Because you say you do all this research, so I'm sure you can come up here and tell us about the Fairmont Conference. I'm sure you can tell me what hotel it was at, the year, and who was the government official that was present. I'm sure you can tell me this without Googling it. Come up here. Correct. Democrats created the KKK, sir. That is correct. And guess what Republicans did? They took it over. Guess what? You want to say that the Democrats ruined our cities with all the crime? Great. Guess what the Republicans did? Give more money to Israel so they can continue to do it. Come up here. Let's have a conversation. Come on. I don't care. You can come tell me that on my platform. Come up here. Don't be scared now. I wonder if this thing has subtitles. Probably. Damn. They don't have subtitles. What's Patel saying? Jesus, come on, Jesus.
My question was though, did your company adopt those GARM standards from 2019?
We adopt the GARM standards.
Okay. And Mr. Jewell, how many of your clients have adopted?
Come on, Jesus. Come on. Tell me all about America first. You can do what them other people didn't do in my previous live. Come sell me Trump. Come on.
Statement. How many of your companies?
Jesus, we already know all this. Come on, tell us something new. Sell me. Come on.
And
don't be scared, buddy. Come on.
Adopted the GARM standards.
I couldn't give you an exact.
Come on, hombre.
Tell you most of our.
Come on, mi hermano. Come on.
Use GARM as a foundation, and then we build upon that for.
Let's have a conversation.
For whatever.
No te apures. Come on.
Okay. And do you, as part of the steering committee, do you have regular discussions with GARM?
You talking way too much for someone who said they got all this research. You talking too much. Come on, click it. Maybe you missed it again.
I do not meet with standards. I do not meet with GARM on a regular basis. I've actually never met with them.
Your company.
Maureen, I don't know what this means, but you can come up here too.
The company would meet, but we 100% decide where our marketing investment goes. That's Unilever's decision.
So Mr. Rakowitz, who
now I'm a racist. How is that racist? Oh, so family, I hope y'all understand what just happened. So me speaking Spanish, you know, something that I learned, that's being racist. Because I told him, don't worry. That's being racist. I called him my brother. That's being racist.
But we have a member that sits on the steercom.
Yes. Okay. So let's get to that for a second.
Okay. So you're not Spanish?
2020.
What does that mean? You have to be from the Bay Area. What does that mean? You're not Spanish? So you're just using this name?
About a presidential ad.
Sir, you're talking too much about what Trump. Come sell me Trump. I want to hear it from your lips.
Facebook policies.
I want to hear it from your brain synapses. Come up here.
I wasn't part of the communication.
I hope you understand. We're not going to block you. But when people rewatch this and look at the chat, you're proving exactly. I made a fake accent. Okay. I made a fake accent. And you don't give a fuck about racists. Then take your bitch ass on then. Go back to the Bay. Enjoy the weather and hope to God another earthquake don't hit over there.
That's up for the media platforms to decide.
While you're driving.
So, but when you're looking for ad safety placement, you're not.
Because if you were from the Bay, I know people in the Bay. You know what? One thing people from the Bay, pussies. When they got something to say, they ride up. I don't hear this riding up. Show me you ain't a pussy. Come tell me everything you telling me in the chat. Let's have a conversation.
We want our brands to appear.
So why were you inquiring whether that was?
Or you can get the hell on. It's 8 o'clock where you at.
So I'm not clear on why.
You should be starting your day. You walked in here.
As I said, we decided where we want to put our ads.
I'm asking you for a conversation. All I'm getting is words.
Where you place your ads. The question, though,
where did you copy and paste that from?
Going to Facebook and saying, does this ad meet your criteria?
Don't block him. I told y'all don't block him.
Trying to influence Facebook.
Why y'all don't listen to me?
Your position is.
Please, family, I need y'all to. When I say don't block someone, do not block them.
But there's an ad over here, a
please.
Specific ad that you're asking, does that meet your policy? That
why did you
intimidate?
Guys, I told y'all not to block him.
That you want to question their policy, their play, their.
Damn it, man! Please do not block people
before you bother to place your ad. But you didn't do it that way.
I'll let you know when to block them, please. I want these messages up because I need people to see this. They just can't see it on the screen.
Interfering in YouTube's policy decision. Yield.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Washington is recognized.
Well, I really like my colleague on the other side, but I did not understand that argument. Antitrust enforcement is experiencing a real renaissance under the Biden administration. Our antitrust enforcers have won victories in court against employers that sought to suppress worker pay, successfully fought to lower.
No, he was blocked. I just unhid him from the channel. So all the messages are gone now.
in the grocery industry. The list of antitrust accomplishments
Damn
of
it,
this
man.
administration is unprecedented, and the American
Come on,
people
guys. If I say don't block
it is
somebody,
unfortunate
please
that
don't
this
do it.
majority has not moved forward with the bipartisan package of antitrust bills that we passed under Democrats in the 117th Congress that would have protected small businesses and consumers across the country as they were demanding to be
Every
able to have
fucking
more
message is
competition,
gone now.
to be able to lower their prices and to protect their ability as small businesses to compete. If we are concerned about the trustworthiness of media, and we want to foster more responsible media, then I would suggest we take up my bipartisan Journalism Competition and Preservation Act. Let's debate
Fuck,
that.
man.
Let's make sure independent publishers across the country,
Give me a second. I'm gonna turn this back up. I'm gonna have to go screenshot every
can
goddamn
survive.
message now.
But that's not what's happening. We've begun to see some colleagues on the other side co-opt the language of antitrust enforcement to target behaviors that have nothing to do with antitrust. I know that the details of antitrust law are confusing, so I want to clarify a few specific legal points in plain English. Professor Waller, as an expert on antitrust law and in plain English, can you explain what kinds of anti-competitive behavior our antitrust laws are designed to prevent?
Sure. And I, as a teacher, I try to explain complex things in plain language, so I appreciate your approach. I can give examples just in the real world. Over the years, the Justice Department has brought criminal antitrust cases against global cartels that have raised the price of vitamins, food additives, and in smaller cases, road building and other expenses that taxpayers bear. This has been a traditional priority of antitrust enforcement. As you know, both the FTC and the Department of Justice have major Section 2 cases going on, both in the tech sector and otherwise, going after powerful firms that they're alleging have violated the antitrust laws, abusing monopoly power by a single firm, whether it's Amazon, Live Nation, Google, et cetera. They're in various stages. And there are pending mergers cases, such as the supermarket merger that's being now litigated by the FTC in 30-some states, where the consequences are likely, if the government's right, higher food prices as well as harm to labor if that merger goes through as currently proposed. Those are some of the priorities.
Perfect. And actually that Kroger's-Albertson merger, there was an
That's
article
on Twitch,
on the front page of the Seattle Times today. Over 150 stores will close in my area, just in Seattle, as a result of that merger. Now, you touched on this in your prepared statement, and I know you only have access to public information about the facts in this case, but given those constraints, do you see any of the antitrust elements in the information that was uncovered by my Republican colleagues?
Based on what I've seen, I do not at this stage, and based on publicly available information, GARM appears to be very different from either a trade association or even a traditional standard-setting body.
No, I'm fine that he's not responding, but I needed
binding industry standards.
those
Whether
messages.
products and services can be sold. They are creating sets of terms that firms can use or not use to make decisions that they each do in the marketplace.
So another fruitless investigation in this Congress. I would also add that Project 2025, the radical right-wing plan for a second Trump administration, calls for more of these ideologically driven attacks on private actors in its section on the FTC, cloaking these culture war attacks in the popular rhetoric of antitrust and market power. On a different note, Mr. Patel, and quickly, how do you think consumers might view your products if they were advertised alongside hateful, vile, or dangerous content like anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, child sexual abuse material, or content promoting terrorism?
I can't even go back over
create
the now.
severe damage to the brand equity that we built for decades and decades.
Thank you. In fact, one of our witnesses has repeatedly made hateful and derogatory comments about LGBTQ plus people in the past. Mr. Shapiro has argued that transgender and gay Americans suffer from a psychological disorder or mental illness.
The Trollman
and
twins are in the building.
Same-sex couples raising children. I and my fellow Americans consider this offensive. Facts and analysis in 2020 found that a network of Facebook pages connected with Mr. Shapiro's website
Talk your shit.
earned over 17 million interactions.
Somebody called her a liar.
1,000 posts with transgender.
Hang on, somebody called her a liar. This is gonna get spicy. Let's get it. Oh, of course, it's Gates keep. Of course it was Gates Keep.
Part of an organization that uses market power for censorship?
No, sir.
And how much advertising capital do you deploy annually?
So we're not going to. So hold on. We're not going to
Related-
hear that. We're not going to hear Ben's response.
You said less than 1% of that in the news area, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's because
Jesus.
really your brands don't want to be involved in these caustic news disputes or political disputes. They want to be apolitical in the presentation of their brand. Am I understanding that testimony correctly?
So we serve 90% of American households with our portfolio.
It's a fascinating answer, just not to my question. Is the reason you de-emphasize news because you want to be apolitical?
We target our investment to address the consumers that buy our brands.
Okay, are you doing so for political reasons or apolitical reasons?
We don't do it for any political reason.
Okay, so then why are the vice presidents of your company trying to shape the way Facebook limits view of a Trump advertisement?
So I'm not sure what the intention of that communication was, but that's
I do. It was to get the Trump ad taken down. It's pretty clear. You had two vice presidents, Rob Master and Luis DeComo, who were pressuring Facebook to utilize Facebook's policies to take down a Trump ad. So it's just hard to believe that your goal is to avoid politics when not some intern at your company, but the vice presidents at Unilever are writing Facebook saying, we want you to take this Trump ad down and apply these policies to do it.
So I'm not sure what the intention of communication was, but
Okay, I tell you what, I'll read you the communication. It's 2 words. It's your vice president to GARM when they were trying to get the Facebook ad taken out. It said, honestly reprehensible. So you're using this $800 million plus power that you have over the marketplace. Facebook is craving your advertising dollars. And you have two vice presidents hammering Facebook to take down a Trump ad about whether or not Joe Biden should have his ear inspected for an earpiece. That was what the ad was about, that you all found so reprehensible.
So respectfully, I'm not sure that word was done by a Unilever person.
You're okay. So Mr.
Wait. Nah, you got to prove that.
He sits on the. If I did my homework right, I think that came from the GARM, Rob.
Oh, Rob Rankowitz. Yes. And but you are member entities to GARM. You pay GARM. You guys are GARM. I mean, as Mr. Jewell said, you have to have tools in order to help you place your ads. So you go fund GARM, and then here your vice presidents are commiserating with GARM over the fact that Facebook won't remove this. I guess, Mr. Shapiro, when we look at these big advertising platforms and they're hearing the people with the advertising dollars hammer them with this ideological tilt, what does that do to the marketplace for ideas?
Obviously, it shuts down the marketplace of ideas, which is largely the intent. And one of the things that I've heard from some of the Democratic members of the committee today is an extraordinary amount of projection. Projection wherein they suggest that Republican members of the committee are trying to shut down free speech by trying to get answers to questions about the kind of political pressures that are being put on social media companies, for example. But it's been Democrats who for years have been spending their time trying to pressure social media companies into doing their bidding by limiting the types of information that are available to the public and how that information is actually distributed. One of the things that's worth noting here is that it's not just a matter of advertising dollars flowing. The way that it works on social media is that if you are demonetized, then the reach of your actual content is also limited by the same social media companies.
Do you think the frequency
of
those
damn lie, sir,
rises
because we've seen
when you
people
have
get demonetized and still get millions of views? Stop telling that
Unilever
lie.
Trying to hammer entities like Facebook into taking down Trump ads?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question that when you have internal pressures put on social media companies to take down right-wing material, that has an impact on the reach of right-wing messaging. There's just no question.
And I guess I don't mind when Democrats say they don't like conservative speech, or we get to say we don't like some of their speech. That's how this works. But it's when the business community colludes and utilizes market
How the hell
power
did they
to
collude?
shape the way social media companies or websites disseminate information, that the public doesn't even get to see that debate and engage it. And I think the fact that it's clandestine is actually even more corrosive to the values that undergird.
That's absolutely true. The complete lack of transparency with which GARM treats both the member companies as well as the consuming public is one of the major problems. If they simply wish to levy a boycott against a right-wing source, they should simply say that's what they're doing. Hiding behind fake standards in order to project objectivity is a major problem in transparency for the market.
I mean,
Mr. Cohen's recognized.
I ain't caping for big business, but I mean, goddamn, they got shareholders, they got billions of dollars on the stake. Y'all see what happens when they say one wrong tweet. Somebody out there does something stupid, the whole market share goes down.
I'm sure the representatives from Group M and Unilever.
You goddamn forever victims.
Creating or implementing Facebook's ad policies. That's something Facebook does. They are, as advertisers, though, rightly concerned about the uniform enforcement of those policies. As the witness stated, quote, "You can't imagine a global marketer."
Why does he have a cup with PetSmart on it?
Campaign across platforms or across
Lord, look at, they even advertising in Congress. Look at that.
Where there are actions against advertising messages and campaigns that are not clear. They are not transparent. It creates disruption because it's like all of a sudden I now actually have an outage in my campaign and I'm not going to be able to reach as many consumers. I'm not going to get business results. The company
They
is
did
not
the
going
same
to
thing to
perform.
Bud
Stock
Light.
market price
The
is all
Anheuser-Busch had
basic
people
supply and
crying
demand
on
is all
film
agreed
saying they
with
can't make
America.
money for their
We're all about
families.
capitalism.
But now,
Is that pretty much correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I would appreciate your. The app was.
but
was not
now,
taken down. The
here
ad
we
was not
go.
taken down, was it?
Now you mad because you can't get them
Not
dollars.
to my understanding.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. This is. I was in transportation working on some issues there and came here to what I think is a rather bizarre hearing. Not the first we've had in this committee. It's our second hearing, ostensibly charging specific groups with illegal conduct without a single expert witness to lay out that conduct and how that conduct violates the law. This is the Judiciary Committee. We're supposed to be looking about law, violation of law, legal experts. Nada. We did have two oversight hearings of the antitrust enforcement agencies, the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice. We had two top enforcement officials here. Not once did any member bring up Global Alliance for Responsible Media, Group M, Unilever, or any of this. So when Republicans had the opportunity to ask antitrust experts, they didn't. Today we have two witnesses, a large advertiser and a large advertising buyer, who are testifying why the Republicans just have it factually wrong. And we have a talk show host who is bitter that corporations do not want to buy.
Jesus! He took a shot. I like it.
Expert with us today, Professor Waller. He diligently and politely explained why this legal theory that there is some antitrust violation designed.
I don't understand how there's antitrust. It's not.
So that is the evidence we have.
Where's the antitrust? What are they getting out of it? Okay, they don't want to advertise with right wingers. Okay, there's still a major area that they can go pilfer.
An attempt to bully, or as they would like it, compel by law.
Oh my
Companies
God!
to associate themselves with individuals and content creators.
Do you really need McDonald's that much?
Seriously, you think Unilever should be forced to advertise and doing so?
Hold up.
Support posts about
You know
rape
what?
or domestic violence. That's not the American way. We let
No,
the
he doesn't
private
get more.
enterprise capitalistic system determine where they want to advertise. And that is the record that's coming out in this hearing, is that they want to force Unilever to do certain things. This is a real concern. We have images that show how a company has legitimate business interest, and I would argue a social obligation not to support this type of harmful conduct and then be associated with it. It also gets free speech wrong, as Professor Waller explained. This isn't about government censoring anyone. In fact, it's about trying to use the antitrust laws and enforcements to compel speech. The Republicans must read the Constitution in a funhouse mirror.
Jesus!
And weird shapes, and
He might get one.
and then they could come out of the
Nah, he ain't gonna get that. We saved that for us. He gonna get this head though.
What we thought they were.
And I haven't read Project 2025, so that could all be in Project 2025.
Oh Lord, why did you bring that up? You were doing so well.
Mr. Patel, Mr. Shapiro, or is it Shapiro?
It's Shapiro.
Shapiro.
Jesus
had an uncle who was
Christ.
Shapiro, and his son became Shapiro.
Oh,
Mr.
no.
Shapiro says the Democrats are using the tacit threat of government action to compel private companies to throttle viewpoints.
Shapiro, Jesus. He about to make like a 15-minute video about that one.
Sorry, sir?
You know what chutzpah is?
No, sir.
Well, that's chutzpah.
Oh my God.
We're literally
in a hearing where the Republicans are using the power of this committee.
He
not
just said
casually
chutzpah
threaten,
in
but
front
actually
of Ben
accuse.
Shapiro.
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Would the gentleman yield for a question?
Companies of illegal activity and investigate them because they don't like their viewpoint. A very sensible viewpoint, I would argue, that they don't want to be associated with hate speech or domestic violence or rape or harassment. Who would want to be associated with anything to deal with?
They really want McDonald's to advertise their video of them going in on those
No, you wouldn't
nasty
want to do that.
pride parades outside, the ones where they're
go
butt
on
naked.
and on and on about that deal. So I'll yield right now and the balance of my time.
I ain't gonna hold you, family. Ben Shapiro is really arguing that he's like, today we're gonna talk about the drag queen story time, and the person in question, man that looks like a woman in a dress, flashed their butt at school children. But first, we have an advertisement from McDonald's, and we'll be back. That's what he wants. Is he serious right now? And hopefully for his luck, when they do it, they'll advertise a Happy Meal.
Yes, sir. In your 2023 annual report, you identify consumer preferences as a principal risk to your business. In examining this risk, you stated our success depends on value and relevance of our brands and products to consumers around the world. Would you agree that it's got to be a critical element in managing that risk because you have to continue to grow consumer preference of your brands, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And you do that through brand and marketing investments or advertisements, I guess is another way of describing that, right?
Like a rock.
But between 2021 and
right
2023,
wingers ain't driving our
spent more than
trucks.
23 billion on
Like
brand
a
and marketing
rock.
investments. That's a fairly big
They all ran
chunk
to
of your
Ford.
operating costs, I'm sure. Would it be fair to say that Unilever believes brand marketing delivers a positive return on investment?
So that's why we invest to build our brands and the equity, and that's why we're in 90%
Complain
of US
about
households.
everything.
Right, but if
Like
consumer
a Vic.
preference is still at risk, you could always do better, correct? I mean, that's obviously the goal.
The business
They
could always grow
can't
better.
find me on Bing.
So let me ask you this. If consumer preference is vital
like
to the
a
success of your
Vic.
company, you acknowledge that a principal risk and commit billions of dollars each year to mitigating that risk, then why would you boycott companies that reach millions of consumers? What? It doesn't make any sense.
There's no
You've got
conservative that
this
reaches
goal in place.
millions of
You're pursuing
consumers.
it,
There's not
but
one.
yet you're still
Knock
pursuing
that shit off.
So we don't boycott. We have a clear internal process. Our brands have jobs to be done. We have target audiences.
There's not
that
one
we
conservative
look
y'all
for
can
our
name that
brands.
can reach
Actually,
millions of
80%
people
of
with
our
their
marketing
products.
spend
There's not
goes between
one.
18 and 49-year-old women because they make 80% of the purchasing decisions for our
Mhm.
business. And that's how we set our choices on investment. What's right for our
By the way,
brands.
Ben,
Give us the best
conservatives still
business
go to
return on
Walmart.
investment.
What about Twitter? Has there been any boycotting of Twitter? It would be in the best interest of growing your consumer preference and delivering returns to shareholders. To
He doesn't need to go to Twitter.
To utilize Twitter to make sure that your brands are continuing to grow, right?
So on Twitter, or X as it's known now, there was a period in 2019, 2020 due to brand safety that we pulled our investment, but we have now returned to Twitter across the world.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shapiro, can you explain the importance, I don't want to oversimplify this, can you explain the importance of advertising dollars to growing Daily Wire into the company that it is today?
Sure. So the truth is that advertising dollars represent a far smaller share of the revenue of the Daily Wire than they did at the very beginning. When you're
Right,
first
your
starting a
subscription
company,
base.
the possibility of starting it off the basis of subscribers alone is very difficult because you actually don't have tremendous market reach. The gradual increase in revenue is largely due to advertising.
So you're telling me that
at the
your
beginning of the Daily
conservative
Wire, nearly
outreach was
100%
bullshit.
of all revenue that we had when we were building the business was based on advertising revenue. Today, it's significantly smaller.
Oh, your
than that
names
because we have a
didn't
very large
work.
subscriber base. So the principal threat that I'm here to talk about is not about the bitterness of my company, which continues to be, thank God, highly successful. The reason that I'm here is to talk about startup companies that are attempting to get into the market and are being barred from an extraordinarily large pool of advertising revenue along political lines.
Do you believe there is collective boycotts that are happening?
There's no question there are collective boycotts happening. And I will say that I do appreciate the chutzpah of some of the Democratic members of Congress, and I'm charmed by their newfound love for free markets and corporate free speech. That one seems to be a bit of a new one to me, but it is charming only in that it requires you to ignore many of the statements that they have made historically about the amount of pressure they would love to bring on private companies when it comes to free speech. And here I will quote the ranking member, quote, "These platforms are utilized as conduits to spread vitriolic hate messages into every home and country. Efforts by media companies to counter the surge have fallen short. Social network platforms continue to be used as ready avenues to spread dangerous white nationalist speech." Or, that was from 2019, from 2020, it goes way beyond the fact that big tech misbehaves. It's the fact this kind of power exists. That kind of power cannot be allowed to exist in society. When you use that sort of language with regard to the same companies we're now hearing require free speech, I find that somewhat difficult to swallow.
Thank you, Chairman. I yield back.
What?
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a sham hearing.
Here we go.
Railing against a made-up boogeyman. I'm not normally up here defending big business, and as Mr. Shapiro noted, I have said repeatedly that we need to limit the massive dark money spending that big business pours into our politics and also pours into our Supreme Court. But let's talk about what's really happening here.
Yes, sir.
Corporate brands care about their reputation because they
Oh,
sell more
shit.
products if they have a good public image.
Talk your
These
shit, Mr.
companies
Johnson.
think it's bad for business to run their advertising content next to child porn or
Talk your
ISIS
stuff.
videos or hate speech or an advertisement from the Heritage Foundation about Project 2025, which is so alarming to most Americans.
Here we go.
Americans are alarmed, and that's why their representatives are talking about Project 2025. A 900-page.
By the way, this guy is
manifesto,
my representative.
which is the blueprint for the
along with Nikema Williams.
Trump administration. Should he be so fortunate and we be so unfortunate that he be reelected, nobody wants their advertisements running against that kind of content. Foreign propaganda, networked disinformation campaigns. So these brands are working together to demand greater transparency and accountability from platforms regarding where their ads are placed and what kinds of content the ads are monetizing. That just sounds to me like good common business sense. Am I right about that, Mr. Patel?
Yes, sir.
And how about you, Mr. Jewell? Am I right or am I wrong?
That's correct, sir.
Thank you. But that's not really why we're here. This do-nothing Congress has nothing to run on this fall. They started out this Congress with 15 rounds of voting to elect the speaker.
This man
and
ran
then they promptly
unopposed in
proceeded to throw
2012,
the speaker out.
2008,
and they wasted another 3 weeks
2014.
trying to put in another speaker. MAGA Republicans have given us 2 years of dysfunction. 2 years. And they don't have anything to show for it but a few rabbit hole investigations of the Biden corrupt crime family, allegedly. $20 million in taxpayer money spent between 2 committees investigating the president with the aim of impeachment, and we saw where that went. So they have nothing, absolutely nothing to show for
Oh, by the
their
way, he
dysfunction.
ran afoul of the
And so
ADL.
what they're now trying to do is gin up their base against this made-up boogeyman and give the platform.
No, Torian, it's not that they were scared. His district is
platform
heavily
to
black.
extreme
A lot of these people were
voices
white
who want to spread misinformation.
or Latino.
The American people know better, and they want a Congress that will work on behalf of real Americans on real problems. Instead of this sham hearing, we should be working on protecting and strengthening our democracy, which is about to be undermined should Project 2025 go into effect. Mr. Professor Waller, Mr. Shapiro's testimony states that, quote, GARM acts as a cartel, end quote. You are an expert in antitrust law, are you not?
I've devoted a lot of my career to studying it.
Can you explain why that assertion?
You know who he sounds
is
like? I
false?
just realized it.
I have not seen any evidence.
He sounds like the doctor from Total
publicly
Recall, the
available
first one.
information that
Was trying to
suggests
tell
that
Quaid
GARM plays a role
that he was still in the
like a
simulation.
traditional cartel. It does not consist primarily of firms that compete with each other, and they are not agreeing on the price, amount, or other kinds of market division that a cartel normally does and is normally punished for it if you can prove.
So this hearing is pretty much false advertisement, wouldn't you say?
Well,
What's
you
that
know,
on his
I would
neck?
just caution all members of the committee just not to fall in the trap that sometimes my students do, which when they see something that they don't like, they think it's either an antitrust violation or a violation of the Constitution. It's just not necessarily true.
Well, gosh, I really hope that Project 2025 does not come into play, because
Oh
if it does,
God,
we'll be having a whole
Jesus!
lot more
Stop
hearings like
talking about
this.
that.
Sham hearings on issues that actually suppress the rights of the people and even business owners to conduct business in a business-like fashion. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Mr. Jewell, what's uncommon collaboration?
Uncommon collaboration?
Yep. This is from the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, your working charter, priorities for uncommon collaboration. I just want to know what you guys say is uncommon collaboration.
Well, can't speak for GARM, but I think what
you're on the board, right? You're on the steer team, your company.
my company's on the steering team. I think what they're referring to
Founding
here,
member.
what they're
Damn, let him
referring to-
Are you a
talk.
founding member?
Damn, let him talk.
Founding member?
Bruh, let him talk.
So I'm asking what, this is your charter, your working charter. What's uncommon collaboration?
Damn.
I believe what they're referring to is a cross-industry collaboration between agencies, brands, technology companies, ad tech companies.
Well, that's all warm and fuzzy, but here's what Mr. Rakowitz, the guy you guys hired to run GARM, here's what he says. Uncommon collaboration is competitors working together. Competitors working together to rise above individual commercial interest. Uncommon collaboration needs to be understood as the industry coming together, putting aside competitive concerns. Mr. Waller just said we don't have a cartel here, but that sounds a lot like a cartel to me.
Here we go.
Do you agree?
No.
Sounds a lot like limiting actions
They
that
don't
would
want
limit
to
consumer
talk.
choice.
Oh,
That sounds
Jesus
like
Christ.
unlawful restraint of trade, and
Here
all
we
that
go.
stuff is illegal.
Jim Jordan
according to
is
the
an
Sherman Act.
asshole.
What do you think, Mr. Jewell?
I think you're wrong, sir.
What's the question? Sorry.
What's the same question?
It literally says on their site, we are using our uncommon collaboration to ensure that there are more positives from digital communications and commerce, and that we effectively reduce the availability and monetization of harmful content.
I thought a company was focused on their commercial interests of their individual.
Why is that a problem? I'm not caping for big business, but why is that a problem? They got a bottom line they got to meet, or a motherfucker be out of a job. People pull their money from these companies, and these companies that spend all these years clicking up, they're going to have to start selling off assets. The economy suffers.
Email about Breitbart, the Daily Wire, and Fox News. There's an interesting parallel here with Breitbart. As much as we hated their ideology and
There go Black Lives
we
Matter.
couldn't really justify blocking them for misguided opinion. I don't know the Daily Wire that well, but we should watch them carefully too. If we block the Daily Wire, why wouldn't we block Fox News? That seems to me like uncommon collaboration in practice,
But
focused on three
hey, Jim Jordan,
conservative
Fox
news
News
outlets.
gets plenty of
You see it that
advertising
way, Mr.
dollars.
Jewell?
Shut up. You sound retarded. Sir,
Our brand safety
they
team,
get
and
money
he's
hand
asking
over
questions
fist.
about
We'll go
what
on
sort of
Fox
standards of
News and
service
I'll
they
show
have,
you.
and
Let's
to
see
figure
what they
out
have on their
what is
ads on
happening,
the front page.
with that particular publisher.
Well, let's put up the next one. Let's show some more uncommon collaboration in practice. Put up the next one. This is the one about Twitter. Based on your recommendations, we have stopped all paid advertisement because the platform was rather unsafe. This is their opinion due to Elon Musk's decision to firing a lot of This is when Elon Musk bought Twitter. But it's an important platform for us to reach our audience, so we would like to consider going back. Looks like this was a coordinated, uncommon collaboration to boycott Twitter, but this company wants to go back because they make a lot of money when they're advertising on Twitter. Is that what this uncommon collaboration is that GARM engages in, Mr. Jewell?
We're not party to this.
Well, well. Look, Fisher Investments. What's the problem?
This is to create trusted brand advertising.
Mr. Shapiro, it's been cited several times. I think Mr. Nader said this in opening statement. A number of the people said that they come together, they collaborate, they collude, they come together because they don't want to be advertising on sites where there's terrorism, piracy, harmful images of children, or other crimes on those associated with those websites. Any of that activity take place on the Daily Wire website?
No, it most certainly is not.
Yeah. So that's
a damn lie.
You know, we're all against that stuff. What we're not for is this colluding, this collaboration to go after to limit advertising because you don't like their ideology, you don't like
You
politics.
did that?
That's
Oh,
what
Lord,
that's what
you
we're
did
focused
that
on.
with
And
Bud
that's
Light.
exactly what's going on out there. And frankly, as you said in your opening statement, anybody can see it.
Yeah, the emails
By
that
the
you're
way,
showing,
Fisher
I've
Investments
yet to see
has
an email on the other side suggesting the
$276
possibility
billion
of investment
in
from
assets.
CNN.
I think Fox News is okay.
And trust me, we did a lot of investigating. We'd have had that. We'd have put it in our report. Didn't find a one. Didn't find a one. It was all targeted in one direction, and they say it in their charter document. Mr. Rakowitz says
They got Blue
uncommon
Rhino.
collaboration is limiting
I
the
think
choice
they're
of-
okay.
Makes absolutely no sense to me. That I will recognize the gentleman from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to welcome the witnesses as well. And
They got
let's
Sling
talk a little bit about
TV. I think they'll
brand
be okay.
reputation, if we may. We all know that how important brand reputation
American
is.
Deli. I
As
think
Warren
they'll be
Buffett has
okay.
said, it takes 20 years to build a brand and 5 minutes to destroy it. Let me start out with Mr. Patel. A question, sir. In 2020, Unilever paused all
Bentley
social media
Atlanta.
advertising.
I think they'll be okay.
Because the environment had become very polarized and unhelpful to its brand. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me say consumers agree with you that, in fact, 82% of consumers also feel
Ooh,
that it
family,
is
look
important
who
that the
advertised
contents
with them. I think they'll be okay.
brand safety. What do consumers consider to be inappropriate content?
Thank you, Infosys and Tata. They'll be fine.
So, Mr. Patel, I'm going to ask again. Unilever paused advertising on both conservative and liberal channels and did not specifically target conservative platforms or content creators. Is that correct? And that's for 2020.
Yes, sir. We pulled all our advertising from all assets.
So, Mr. Patel, it sounds like this is more of a pure business decision and not a messaging crusade on your part. Would you agree with that?
No, we did what was felt was best for our brands.
Business decision.
Yes, sir.
Business decision.
And Mr. Patel,
It's
you've
their
testified
money.
that Unilever, you make decisions to advertise independently. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We make our investments on what's right for our brands. And
No group, including GARM, dictates or approves where Unilever spends its advertising dollars. Is that correct?
100%. Unilever makes its own decisions.
And no group directs Unilever to avoid any platform or creator. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Patel, members of GARM can come and go freely like X, formerly Twitter, have done. Is that correct?
GARM is a voluntary organization.
Professor Waller, if I may, some on this committee have suggested that members of GARM have colluded to harm competition by boycotting certain platforms or speakers.
They had to put up a placard. So
Don't businesses have
Bruh, they trolling them.
how and where they spend their advertising
Family, they
dollars?
trolling the conservatives right now. Now they're gonna watch.
And
Conservatives
it's
gonna
clear
put up a
from
video
Mr.
talking about
Patel's answers
how
and
that
the
was
public
that's not
documents
cool.
that there is no collusion.
Like we don't know what
Would you agree with
antitrust
that?
is. You obviously don't.
I can only say as a matter of,
screenshot.
I have not read the committee's
Damn it, I
report,
missed it.
and based
Let me
on
go back a
publicly-
little bit. I need this
I can only say
screenshot.
as a matter of, I have not read
They
the committee's
trolled
report,
them.
based on publicly available information.
This is beautiful.
I'm seeing a discussion of unilateral decisions on how to do business, which is the purview of each company. And you simply need more. You need more, even if other firms are doing similar or even identical decisions. The law is clear that you need something that shows that they're acting in a way together rather than independent. And I see you have an element of antitrust violation.
Well,
chart
what you
behind
have
you.
behind me, sir, Mr. Waller, is a chart of the 3 elements, the mandatory elements of a Sherman Act Section 1 violation.
Trolled
You
him.
need to prove all 3 elements.
And look at
So, Mr.
Common's
Waller,
daddy
let
on the
me ask
bottom.
you,
I like that watch though.
are you aware of any agreement among the competitors to boycott or collude?
I have no personal
No,
agreement,
this
but
is
I'm not hearing
the
anything
Judiciary
today that
Hearings
suggests that.
official site.
In the absence of an agreement, I can just say
Yeah,
there's
how's
no Section 1
Judiciary
violation.
GOP?
So if there's no agreement, there can't be a Section 1 antitrust violation.
That is true.
So there's no
Now clap for me, mommy. Oh, just clap for me,
If there's
mommy.
no agreement, there's no Section 1, and then there are other requirements. That
GOP.
your chart has 2 additional requirements you have to
The
show.
GOP
an
getting
unreasonable
embarrassed on their
harm to
own YouTube
competition.
channel. Ain't this a bitch?
And there's one. In addition, I would suggest that
Watch
if the
Trump come out with a
firms
statement later and say how
involved
they were
have a
wrong.
legitimate business justification for what they do, that is often enough to avoid a violation, even if there were an agreement.
It's a lot. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I yield the remainder of my time.
Yields back. Gentleman from California is recognized.
Professor Waller, you were a senior advisor to the federal, over here. You were a senior advisor to the Federal Trade Commission under Lena Khan, right?
That is correct.
And when you left, did you take copies of your work product?
No.
Are you aware that the FTC deleted them all and would not make them available to this committee? So we have no idea what you did?
I have no idea what the FTC did after I left.
But you didn't take any copies. Under oath, you're telling us that you have no records of your time there, your opinions, or what you did there.
No. In fact, I was prohibited from doing so. I turned in my computer, my phone, and I have no access to any of that stuff.
Okay, well, that's fine. So they just destroyed the evidence. The Federal Trade Commission under Chairwoman Khan has found everything to be antitrust. They haven't found a merger or an acquisition they seem to like, even if they're unrelated. Were you part of that decision? In other words, when they've decided that the only way you can merge or acquire somebody is if it hurts your ability to compete, were you part of that? Because today you're talking about nothing is, what we're seeing here, which clearly smells like a cartel, certainly looks like a suppression of free speech. You're saying none of it is. You've testified repeatedly that you see no there, and yet you were part of the FTC, which sees a there everywhere. Can you explain that quickly?
I'm providing a roadmap of all the issues that I think this committee would have to find solid evidence on to
I
proceed.
find your behavior and the behavior of the Federal Trade Commission under your participation to be inconsistent with your testimony, and as a result, have to discount your opinions a considerable amount. For
You're seeing the white supremacist temper tantrum happening right now.
Unilever is based where?
The U.S. is
No. Where is the stock holding parent company?
London, sir.
London. So you're not a U.S. based company, other than you're a division of a foreign company. Is that correct?
We're based headquarters London.
Okay, that's okay. You've got a wonderful British accent. It's fine.
Holy
I
shit!
like that, actually. So where is Garm based?
Wow! Now he go. Okay, get some.
The answer is Belgium. It's not hard.
Actually, I'm not sure where Garm is based.
Okay, well, our information shows it's Belgium.
It's in Belgium.
So a non-U.S. company working with a non-U.S. consortium that controls 90% of advertising, all of which is outside the U.S. and outside the reach of really being discovered, wants to tell us it's not a cartel. You know, the one thing about a cartel is the first way you know it's a cartel is it says it's not a cartel. I think that's really what we're dealing with here. I would ask Mr. Waller, except that I find him inconceivably disingenuous when what he's saying today doesn't seem to be consistent with where he was working till recently. So I'll go to Mr. Shapiro. Mr. Shapiro, do you have more than 10% market share in the advertising or social media work?
We certainly do not.
You don't. So you don't have any market power.
Very little.
Okay. But if you had control or influence over 90% of it, do you think that the Federal Trade Commission would be up your derriere every day with questions? I didn't use the Yiddish term because I was afraid.
Even as things currently stand, I overpay my taxes.
Okay. So basically what we're dealing with here today is You,
There was something
Fox,
there, but I'm
the
gonna be
others
quiet.
don't have individually enough market share to have market power so that you can control a market. But clearly, GARM's influence does have 90% of the advertisers. And according to everything we've seen, you've been
They don't even
blacklisted
have.
by them.
Never mind.
That seems to be the case.
Now, the late Roger Ailes was a friend of mine. I thoroughly enjoyed my time and the guidance he gave me. But he also gave Rupert Murdoch a piece of guidance, and it is true till today. He found a niche that the company that became Fox News could fill. And he said, Mr. Murdoch, I found a niche I think we can exploit. And he said, well, what is it? He said, it's half of America.
Bruh.
So can you explain in 35 seconds or less, more or less?
Family.
One, if you know that chutzpah means nerve, I'm afraid most people aren't good in Yiddish here, apparently.
Family. I just wanted to see who Daily Wire's advertisers were. Look at this. Why is she still here? I guess maybe y'all didn't update the page. She's been gone for like what, 2 months now? You didn't update the page? All right. Oh, and Good Ranchers went with her. So there it is. Oh boy.
They coordinate with foreign governments. GARM actually does coordinate in Europe with a bunch of European governments in consolidating standards and all the rest. And they obviously don't have the same First Amendment restrictions that they do in the United States. These sorts of informal arrangements are then carried across the pond here and incentivized by, again, members of this body, members of the executive branch who put pressure on social media companies in order to throttle particular viewpoints.
Mr. Chairman,
But
I would
y'all
certainly
didn't
say for the
complain when
record
they were
that
doing it to
if
black
you,
folks.
if you
Y'all weren't complaining.
enroll half of America's access, that's chutzpah.
Oh, Jesus.
The gentleman
Christ.
yields back. Gentlelady from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Responsible advertising standards are being questioned here today, and we should not be using taxpayer dollars to speak on an issue that has been investigated and produced no support for any unlawfulness. We need to trust the facts that we have gathered, not chase conspiracy theories or force companies to make investments against their will. There are so many issues that we could be focusing on here today that would actually kind of save millions of lives, such as gun violence prevention, or better serve the American people and make a positive and meaningful difference in the
You
lives of
fuckers
those
had
that
years
we
to
are
do this
sworn
and you
to
never
serve.
did it because you were making money
We
off
could
some
focus
cops.
on measures to reform our prisons and protect our children from online violence, or we could make a good faith effort to protect the First Amendment.
No, you're doing that with
We
TikTok.
have urged our colleagues on this committee time and time again to follow the facts and resist the urge to chase down unbiased claims for political clout. We should be using tax dollars to help the very people who pay them. Instead of some of my colleagues in the majority are wasting money so that they may spread falsehoods and distract the public from their inability to effectively legislate. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being on this panel today. But I do have a number of questions, so if you don't mind just kind of answering it succinctly as you possibly can, I appreciate it. Professor Weber Waller, in the research that you have obtained on the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, are members of GARM within their First Amendment right to voluntarily decide whether to place their advertisements on a certain website or platform?
Yes.
Thank you. Is this true even if multiple members of GARM make the same decision voluntarily?
Yes.
In 2020, Spotify entered into an exclusive deal with a podcaster for $100 million. And on this podcast, the host shared COVID misinformation.
Did he really?
Suggesting that
Never mind, I'm gonna shut up.
that healthy young adults did not need to be vaccinated, leading prominent artists to leave Spotify over this.
And he got more money.
Inflammatory language was constantly being used, including using the N-word repeatedly over a
What does this have to do with that?
Mr. Patel and Mr. Jewell, Can you explain why brands would not like to have their advertisements appear alongside this kind of audio content?
From a Unilever perspective, it would create damage to what the brands stand for and the equity that we've built for many decades around why they exist.
Thank you.
From our perspective, it's much similar. Companies spend billions of dollars over decades building their brands, committing certain values, making it feel safe, making it feel useful, making it earn its place in consumers' lives. When you put it next to something like that, at a time when there's a massive health crisis and these types of comments come out, it destroys those billions of dollars they've invested over long periods of time.
Thank you for those clarifications. Mr. Patel and Mr. Jewell, how do your companies determine what platforms and products you wish to use for your advertising?
From a Unilever lens, what we do is, and it's different for every brand, we have a job to be done for the brand. We have target audiences, so we have selective demographics that we're trying to address through the brand equity, and then the team locally will work with the Group M to understand where that content is, and then we'll target that through our advertising.
I think that's exactly right. If you want to introduce a new pickup truck in America, you're going to go out and figure out who is most likely to buy that, and how do I match the brand values of what that truck is with the audience segments. So I'll make it up, but we're going to find men between 24 and 35 who believe in durability, toughness, and they like the message appeal of Made in America. We're going to go find the news outlets that represent that audience best and connect them to that audience.
AKA football.
Clarifications, Mr. Patel and Mr. Jewell.
NASCAR.
If the committee decides today that companies must advertise on platforms that are not aligned with their brand, how could this affect the future of advertisements?
Respectfully, ma'am, what we believe is that we have a right to choose where we want to choose our investments and where we want to advertise our brands.
I agree with that.
Why the fuck they can't do
Thank you,
that?
and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Tiffany.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman, hang on for 1 second. We've been at it a couple hours. If any of you need a break, just please let us know. We'll take a break, but you've got several to go. Just let our staff know. We'll go. Gentleman's recognized.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We know from hearings in this committee that in the 2020 election that ads were throttled from President Trump. And Mr. Jewell,
that's a political candidate.
What is GroupM doing to make sure that President Trump's ads are not going to be throttled here?
What do the people on the panel got to do with that?
2024 election?
Thank you for the question. GroupM works with all of our different publishers and partners to enforce their standards of service, to make sure that we look at what those are. And that's part of the reason that we actually use GARM and others, is to get an industry framework and guidelines and use third parties to look at the content that comes through and make sure that it's performing as it should.
So will you be watching companies like Google, like Meta, like X to make sure that they are not throttling information coming from conservatives and in particular President Trump?
We actually work with all the major publishers around the world, and certainly here in the United States, and meet with them on a regular basis to talk about their standards of service, their policies, and make sure that they are living to those standards of service. It's really important to us to have choice in this marketplace and to be able to connect our brands and consumers in a wide variety of organizations.
So there's a real concern that we see this email. There were some emails that were posted earlier. We have one here from Joe Barone, Managing Partner, Brand Safety Americas. We confirmed with Spotify that Group M Brand Safety Team will conduct a complete trust and safety review. This was after, this was in response to Joe Rogan being on Spotify. Spotify said, we do not want to take Joe Rogan down. And you guys put additional pressure on. How can we be confident with something like that happening? Is Mr. Barone still working for Group M?
No, sir, he's not.
Okay, so we can be confident something like this will not happen again, where you guys used actually kind of secondary power to secondary authority to be able to go after somebody like Spotify. We can be confident that's not going to happen again?
Sir, we routinely conduct brand and safety reviews to make sure that these partners of ours are living to their standards. And in the case of Spotify, we didn't boycott anything. We didn't pull our spend. They continue to be a major media partner for us. We wanted to understand during a health crisis in America what Joe Rogan was talking about, and did it comply with Spotify's standards of service?
So one final issue in regards to this, is it, has Group M done a mea culpa in regards to this information that was throttled in regards to the COVID disaster that happened, not just in the United States, but across the world? Has there been an acknowledgement by Group M that many of the things that were talked about by people like Joe Rogan and others have actually turned out to be true, that they are not misinformation? Has Group M acknowledged that?
Sir, I'm not aware that Group M ever came out and said that Joe Rogan was spreading misinformation or that Spotify, the platform. We asked Spotify to clarify their policies. We are
Any
in the business
president,
of connecting brands and consumers
serving or not, they're always going to be
in a way
referred
that
to
their
as
messages can be
president.
heard in an authentic manner.
So you weren't going after Spotify?
As I said, we never reduced our spend once. We didn't call for a boycott. We didn't, we asked for clarification from Spotify.
Mr. Patel, the VP for Facebook let us know a few years ago that they put out information telling people how to get into this country illegally, and we've seen over 10 million people do that here in less than 4 years under the Biden administration. Is your company, Unilever, does some advertising on Meta, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is a Trump ad, as was alluded to by my colleague from Florida, is that more dangerous, or is it more dangerous to have Facebook telling people how to get into our country illegally? You had some VPs that said that a Trump ad was very dangerous and that it should be pulled down. Is that more dangerous, a Trump advertisement for president, or is a Facebook saying that they are encouraging people to come into the country illegally? Which one's more dangerous?
So from a Unilever lens, we believe that's not the content we want our brands associated with.
Will you stop advertising with Meta? Because they have encouraged people to come in illegally. I mean, if you took an ad like that out in the newspaper, you'd be in big trouble. It seems like the same thing should happen to Meta. They're breaking the law, telling people to come into this, telling people how to come into this country illegally. Will you be dropping your advertising from them?
So that's why we work with Group M and different partners to ensure our brands appear adjacent to the content that we're targeting for the audiences that we are.
But hasn't Group M failed you then? They did not find out that they're actually encouraging illegal activity. Shouldn't Group M be telling you that, hey, there's a problem here?
So that would be, we also have verification within our own organization to see where our assets are appearing. So it would be picked up in the system.
I wish I could do some more follow-ups, but I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman yields back. Mr. Swalwell.
Thank you.
Oh, swallows well.
Shapiro, thank you for joining us today. I think it is important that you're here as one of the leading conservative voices in the country. And the country has, in the last couple of weeks, talked a lot about and Googled Project 2025. It's one of the most Googled search terms right now. And you're not going to get any censorship from me. So I just wanted to know, from your perspective, I think it would help us understand on just like a scale of 0 to 100%, how much do you support Project 2025?
I think, like President Trump, I haven't looked all that deeply at Project 2025, but it seems that Democrats on this committee, sort of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, if they say Project 2025 enough, their presidential candidate becomes alive again.
And so, well, let's just talk about pieces of it. And
That's the conservatives in the room.
You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency.
I do.
I want more efficiency.
I know you want less efficiency.
Taxpayer money spent wisely.
The efficiency you got right now, found out you were banging a Chinese spy. That's all right.
Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who's in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they're making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
So
they
if
can
they
do
were
so for
willing to
hundreds of
pay-
millions of
Oh.
other Americans, they can do that for
Wow, so somebody that doesn't pay taxes needs to go.
how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So that means anybody.
With
Say
in
that.
a system where they could pay those taxes.
Does that
if they
count
wanted
for
to, and then stay and
I
work,
don't
you know, at Food Earth.
It
know,
depends on how long it would take for them
a
to pay the
billionaire
taxes,
not
and they
paying
would
their
also have to go
taxes,
presumably to the
paying
back of the
zero?
line, although
Should they
I'm
be
not sure why
deported?
testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state by state issue on a personal level. You know, I'm
just
fully
asking you.
sure. I'm a fully pro-life person, which means
There
that I'm
you
not in favor of
go.
the
Come on,
distribution of the abortion
Benjamin.
pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm
There
perfectly
you
fine with anyone
go.
having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay?
They gotta cut this up, family.
How long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic
Go
idea
ahead,
is
sir.
that sexual
Keep talking.
orientation is up for government
Sir, just
regulation,
gonna
I'm
lose
not in
their
favor
mind.
of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual
Benjamin, why do you
arrangements that
care
adults
if
make.
two women says
But again,
it?
just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
Why do you
And
care about two men
how about
having butt S? Pause.
cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a seventh grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just
Great, we got
some
another
receipts.
one.
You
Michael,
did
you
say,
can
I
come
think
up here and tell me how
homosexual
Ben
activity is a
Shapiro
sin.
is
Yes.
spanking him. We can take a break.
Me out.
But the view of all religious people.
Come up here and tell me how he's spanking them one time. I kind of want to know this. So this is what we finna do.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Come up here and tell me how he's spanking them.
I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman, I just want to shift to.
This I gotta hear how Ben Shapiro is spanking them.
He was supposed to be here this week, and he's not coming.
Pause.
And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will.
Oh, look, Swallows Well didn't even get his chance to yell at the president's son. Oh,
You can yell. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, but
yeah, you can.
restriction on speech is.
It's just you're gonna get your ass kicked if there wasn't no
You
fire.
can yell theater in a
And,
crowded fire,
and
you all
you get yell theater in a crowded fire. That's what he said.
and we'll just waste the American people's time.
Gentleman's time has expired, and I remind him of the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging.
Jesus! Politics is so much fun.
Heard a lot
Michael, I'm
today
still
from
waiting.
Our colleagues across the aisle and your fellow witnesses about the need for brands to avoid placement against or association with controversial content. And
Hey, look,
the
it's Ann
examples
Coulter
that
if
we've
she
heard
was 30 years
cited
younger.
are truly despicable. Child sex abuse materials, terror threats, foreign propaganda, promotion and funding of criminal activity. So just to be clear, you have had personal experience
Ben
being
spanking him,
targeted
and he
by
spent
these
30 minutes
collusive
crying that he can't
activities
get
and these
advertising dollars
limitations
from
of
Big Business.
advertising.
But
So
he's spanking
let's
them.
clarify the Daily Wire and its associated content. Do you include any child sex abuse materials on your website?
No, we certainly do not.
Do you promote terrorist activities or ISIS videos?
No, we certainly do not, unlike some members of the Democratic Party who seem to
Do
be.
you promote or
And do not
fundraise
block
for
Michael.
criminal
Leave him
conduct?
alone.
We do not.
Do you share foreign propaganda?
We do not.
In fact, Mr. Shapiro, is it not true that the Daily Wire website, associated content, and social media involve none of those things and are instead a reflection of mainstream conservative ideas?
That's a
and thought?
damn lie.
I'd also like to discuss the concept of advertiser engagement and return on investment. Do you have any knowledge or information about the level of audience engagement with advertisers who do choose to advertise on your platforms?
Thank God we have extraordinary levels of advertiser engagement with our audiences, which is why we continue
We
to
no
maintain
fan of
significant
Eric
ad presence
Swallows
despite the
Well, but
obstacles we've
don't
discussed today.
come up here telling me
And
that he's
if
spanking them.
an advertiser were making a market-based decision, do you have a decision based on actual economic input and engagement with the content consumers? Do you have any information or opinion about whether that
Especially
return
if
on
you just
investment
tuned in,
is a
so you
good
didn't
one
hear
if they
everything.
engage with the Daily Wire?
I'm obviously biased in this matter, but I obviously think it would be an excellent investment. And we have heard from certain advertisers that what they actually would like is some sort of cover and less public pressure on them so they can make market-based decisions.
Now, in your experience, you have actually had your own content limited or removed or censored, have you not?
We have.
Would you share with us some of the examples of content that you have had limited or censored?
Well, let's see. I have about 4,000 of them. Seriously, about 4,000 content enforcements across our various YouTube channels. We've actually had to engage in self-enforcement because the corresponding information that we're getting from social media is so poor. And so one of the things—
Oh, sounds like you didn't do your research.
Prospectively remove material.
Maybe you stop putting pundits up there that be lying on y'all and lying to the people just for engagement.
Describing the
Well, you
geography
got rid
of
of
the
one of
Philadelphia
them, so,
corridor,
you know.
which is the border between Israel and Egypt in the Gaza Strip. That could get us demonetized. Any mention whatsoever of a man not being a woman, that will get you demonetized.
Because y'all
YouTube,
consistently
for example.
did it.
As I've mentioned, when you're demonetized, it's not merely that you're demonetized, that YouTube then has an interest in preventing the dissemination of your message. So the number of
means
people
you
who
have to
actually
change
see
the
your
model,
particular
fool.
video will be lower than if you are a monetized video. And we have example after example of this. I mentioned in my testimony that Matt Walsh, fellow host over at the Daily Wire, he was fully demonetized on YouTube for pointing out that men are not women, for example.
So is it correct to say then that the collusive activity by advertisers to choose to limit or choose to restrict utilizing your platforms, it has both a monetary impact and a potential impact on your ability to reach new subscribers and viewers?
That is certainly true.
That's a
Now, you
damn
touched
lie. 'Cause
earlier
y'all be
on
all
the fact
over
that you've
X.
obviously been able to
Just
transcend
let me
these
shut
types
up.
of barriers in your own business operation, but you touched earlier on the type of detrimental effect that this has on a new or startup company. Could you explain to us exactly how this type of conduct or this type of collusion can inhibit the ability of new companies to form or new thoughts or ideas to actually reach the American public?
Sure. So let's take a look at a startup conservative media company, and GARM decides to apply its misinformation standards, which are extraordinarily broad and subjectively defined to that conservative.
Why didn't you just say
media
startup company?
have to
Why
be
you had to act
extraordinarily careful with
conservative?
what they say, to the extent that they may not report material that they think will be detrimental to them.
You said he's spanking him and then told me you just tuned in and you went after the other guy. Come tell me how he's spanking him.
If you are a startup media outlet and you are focused in on something like that, the possibility that you will then be demonetized by a social media platform based on GARM removing its advertising, using its standards, telling its advertisers not to advertise on these particular platforms, that's going to deprive you of the advertising revenue necessary to actually build your operation. Get
But
new
you have all
reporters,
these other
hire new opinion
advertisers.
writers,
So
and
what's
then
the
do the actual
problem?
marketing
Why
on
do
your
you
own
want?
that you would want in
Why
order
do
to
you
achieve
want
market
McDonald's so
And you
bad?
go all over the world and give talks and engage
Why do you
with
want
everyday
Procter and
citizens about
Gamble
the
so
issues that
bad?
are of interest and concern to them. In your
Well, y'all want to
opinion
sell
and
dish
experience,
soap now? Is
do those
that the
issues you
new
just
thing?
touched on, are they of
Conservatives want to sell
interest
dish soap,
to
family.
people about just
They
in
want to
general
sell
the political
Cascade
discourse and
pods.
things they want to hear content about today?
They certainly are of interest. And I
They
find it
want
a
to
massive puzzle
advertise
as to
for
why the
gain.
advertising market, if there is no sort of at least informal collusion between them, have deprived the advertising revenue from literally
Conservatives would
half
love to
the
tell
American
you
public.
that they use washing detergent with OxyClean in it.
Mr. Chairman, I need to.
Matt Walsh wants
speak
to
my
have
colleague's
Snuggle the
comments
Bear
about Professor
on his
Waller. He
platform.
misrepresented and maligned the witness and falsely represented that the witness has something to do with the majority's
Michael Knowles wants to eat cornflakes.
Garm testified over a
Eggo
month
waffles
ago,
while
and all
he's
these
talking
gentlemen,
his dumb
the
shit.
majority could have invited them to speak at this hearing.
Ooh,
They
we
did
getting
not.
spicy. Let's get it.
The gentleman has a right to speak on his time, or if it's yielded on someone
Talk
else's
your shit.
time.
Get some
If there's
order
no
up in
motion
there.
involved, the gentleman is not in order.
Talk.
Does the gentleman wish to proceed?
I blame their fathers for them being out of
The
order.
committee will now stand in recess for 5 minutes to give the witnesses and the members a break.
Get some. Was that not fun, family? That was fun. Point of order. Point of order. They got a bathroom break. Oh, man. You got to love these trolls, boy. They think they can just fly by and say shit. And then when they get confronted, they run. Oh, I already said what I said. Come say it to my face. You can't even tell me what Ben said that Spank swallows well. He sat there for 30 minutes crying that he can't get major advertising dollars. That's what this whole thing is about. This is all about conservatives not getting the big bucks because their content is so toxic that companies do not want to advertise with them. They want to be in the club. That's all this is. Because I just showed y'all 15 minutes ago, Fox News is getting big money. By the way, I bet y'all didn't know that Daily Wire, they have advertisers. I showed y'all some of them. Yes, I did. We finna show it to you again. And this is why I get at them, their little hypocritical asses. Straight hypocrites. They have a whole sponsor list right here. Past and present. This was in January. Now, we know these social media companies like these Gold and all that. We get that. They got, what is it, Black Rifle Coffee. They're racist, but okay. You got that. That ain't enough for them. They don't want that. They want Starbucks. I get it. Bowl and Branch. I've heard about them since I was still in New York. Even Mike Lindell didn't even want to go over there and, do the thing. But okay. They wanted Bed Bath & Beyond. I get it. Especially now that they're about to be defunct. But they wanted the dollars when it was fruitful. They wanted to be able to tell their crowd about the goddamn 20% off flyer that they give every other month. I get it though. Cozy Earth, never heard of them. What do? Betting. Told you, conservatives love sitting in their house all day. So you need all that betting. Got to constantly change it. From your bed to the kitchen to the office where you can lie, back to the kitchen, back upstairs. ExpressVPN to help you find information. This isn't enough for them, though. They wanted Verizon and T-Mobile. I get it, though. I get it. Points of online privacy. I get it. Genicel, makeup. They wanted, what's the brand name? Maybelline. Maybe it's Maybelline. They wanted that. I get it, though. I bet you your female correspondents don't use Genicel, though. I bet you they don't. They said it's a prominent sponsor, but we've never heard of them. Anti-aging products. Who is on TV that's that old that you need anti-aging products? All right. Good Ranchers. We saw that with Candace. So at least one of them said, we're going to branch out. We're going to go to Candace. Good Ranchers. You get that free bacon for life. Helix Mattress. They wanted Mattress Firm. We understand this. We understand this. They wanted the purple mattress. We understand this. They couldn't get that, so they got Helix. Jeremy's Razors. They wanted Gillette, but Gillette went woke. We understand this. They wanted Procter and Gamble. Look, kick woke out of your bathroom. Woke. We get it though. Hey, listen, I've been seeing some of y'all 50-year-old walking around. I'm just saying. But I get it. Harry's went woke too. I get it. Yeah, I remember this commercial. It was dumb as hell. Neurohacker. So they couldn't get to where Alex Jones gets his stuff from, but you know, I get it. I get it. Supplements is the new grift. I get it. Neurohackers partnership with the Daily Wire allows them to reach an audience that values mental performance and personal development. Boy, if you don't stop telling them lies.
And a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
You need to get out of the way for free. Policy Genius, the smarter way to buy insurance. So I use this. They're just going to send me to Geico or Allstate. Say less. Pure Talk. What is this? Telecommunications. It sounds like a phone. Cell phone plans. How'd that Freedom phone work one time? All right. Okay. I've never heard somebody say they got Pure Talk, but all right. ZipRecruiter. Okay. Haven't seen a ZipRecruiter commercial in forever, but all right. I guess Monster and Indeed been whooping that ass, so you ran to the Daily Wire for some market share. I get it. Sponsors that have dropped the Daily Wire. One notable instance involved Ben Shapiro, co-founder of the Daily Wire. Following remarks he made during the speech at the March for Life event, there was a public backlash to that at least one sponsor withdrawing. That led to at least one sponsor withdrawing their support. This incident highlights the delicate balance media companies and their sponsors must maintain, especially when navigating politically and socially charged topics. Okay. Now, what did you say? And who dropped you? So he lost 2. So you said something about baby Hitler on Twitter back in 2019. And you lost Calm, a relaxation and meditation app. And Quip toothbrushes. Sucks. Anyway, continue. Actually, I tell a lie.
Who cares? But yeah, I feel absolutely nothing for them.
Yeah. I get it though. You want those big advertising dollars. I get it. I get it. But anyway, let me see. Let me go back. Okay, they still haven't come back yet. So I think we're gonna, anybody want to come up and say something? We'll allow y'all to say something. If not, I'm going to get off here, pause, and go get something to eat. I haven't eaten all morning. And I've been up since 5. Yeah. Well, FBA Queen. See, you're used FBA Queen. I'm upset at you right now. I hope you know that. I'm really upset with you right now. Here it is. I'm doing this stream for y'all, and I'm trying, and I'm trying to give you all the information and let you hear it from their lips. And here you go, making sense. I'm pissed off at you. I'm not pissed. I'm just sad. I'm just playing. I was just playing. Yes, Maverick.
You call him Maverick?
Don't you drive a Maverick?
A work car, yeah.
So, hello, Maverick.
Whatever. How you doing? So I speak to the class when we all said that shit was boring as hell listening to talk. I know it's content, no disrespect, but it was boring as hell.
Well, listen, judicial hearings usually are.
And a bunch of old ass white men ain't talking about shit.
I must be becoming my maternal grandfather because that motherfucker would stay watching C-SPAN. The worst thing they ever get, my uncle ever did for him, get him cable. That man loved him some C-SPAN and some CNN in between wrestling.
I have an uncle that watches damn MSNBC all damn day. I don't know how he do it. I don't know if he still watches it or not though, but I can't stand that shit. But nah, I don't know why they keep acting like what's the word I'm looking for? Because I don't want to say I don't want to get you in trouble. Oh, the scandemic. Well, C-19. Let's go C-19. I don't know why they acting like they all in that Congress ain't vaccinated. I guarantee you most of them motherfuckers are vaccinated.
I guarantee you most of them weren't.
We talking about the in Congress?
Mm-hmm.
I think most of them are. That's just
I
my
bet you most of them aren't.
We can agree, disagree. I think they are.
They're not. Trust me, they're not.
They got something.
They got a waiver.
They got something. Hell, they ain't. You notice ain't none of them really get sick like that during the pandemic.
That's what I'm saying. They never took it.
You never know. Some of them did.
Bruh, most of those representatives are under Big Pharma. They get paid. Big Pharma told them not to take it. I guarantee you it's gonna come out in a few years. Just like, remember, they all argued against Obamacare, but they all signed a waiver saying they don't have to pay the fine on it.
Shit, people still on that damn shit. As much as they talk drunk about it, there's people that still on it. You go ahead. You fine? Oh yeah, you fine. But yeah, most of them folks, shoot, especially the poor white folks, they love that shit.
I hope, hey, white folk, no disrespect, but I hope watching that judicial committee hearing, I hope you realize they're against you too. I know you don't. And look, it wasn't woke because they barely brought us up, and they're back. I don't even want to hear no more.
I knew Ben was gonna bring our asses. I already knew he would.
Yeah, he showed his whole ass. He's out there crying that he can't get Burger King money.
I don't know why Burger King nasty as hell. I mean, I can understand the money part,
but it's money. But brother, I didn't tell y'all this earlier. I'm gonna let you answer this. What's coming up soon?
The election, right?
No. What comes up before the election?
The convention. Convention?
No. Doesn't have anything to do with politics.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
The Olympics, sir.
Oh.
And what do the what did I tell y'all a couple weeks ago about the Olympics? What do they do there?
Advertise.
Bingo.
A lot of athletes about to get some money.
Bingo.
Especially the track and the
who on their side just got a big fat contract
for the United States?
No, there's not. They're not in the Olympics. I'm just saying. Who on their side got a big fat contract just now?
Shit. It ain't on NBC, right?
No. It's a basketball player.
Oh. W or NBA?
NBA.
NBA. Jason Tatum?
No. Jonathan Isaac.
Really?
He just got a big $84 million deal from Orlando.
Conservatives
were running around praising the hell out of it.
I thought that was last year he just got that contract.
They restructured it, so he got more money.
I don't know why.
Because I guess he came back from injury and had a good year.
I mean, yeah, he had a good. He's a good. I'll give him this. He's a good defensive player. That's the only thing he's good for.
Right. But I bring that up to bring this up. They see the money. They wanted to be at the Olympics. Daily Wire wanted to be able to cover from France, but they needed the advertising dollars to do it. That's why they're really pissed off.
So they can go over there and not take a bath, right?
Go over there, not take a bath, and report on the BS over there, because they know everybody would have ran over there to go watch them. Now that watch, I guarantee you, when the Olympics start, they're gonna complain about the first woke thing they see on there.
Oh, you know they will.
Exactly, but nobody's gonna care, because that's one thing that people, as much as you want to say it's woke, people actually care about the Olympics.
They actually do. I mean, I thought about it. I was like, maybe Caitlyn don't go over there, but I said, no, they'll take her over there because I was like, she need that month break.
But they still telling me that she good, she great. Wait, let me tell you something. If she loses them ESPYs tomorrow, bruh, family. If you get an alert saying Angel Reese won Woman of the Year, Women Athlete of the Year, I swear to God, stay off of X.
I would have gave it to Aja Wilson.
She probably, well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say Angel Reese. Anybody else but Caitlin Clark. Don't even go on X. Don't even do it. Because the cross burnings will be crazy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man.
Thank you very much.
Shut up. I'm telling my country accent, sir.
Huh?
I said, don't talk about my accent.
I ain't talking about yours. I was talking about hers. Why you so guilty?
I have a country accent. I
wasn't even talking about your accent. I was talking about hers.
But don't just.
Was she white?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying. I don't know. I'm calling you sir. Hell, you ain't that much older than me. Hell,
I'm old enough. Now refer to me as sir because I'm Jamaican. I like that shit. I like hearing FDA refer to me as sir.
Pause.
What was pause?
You said I like when you call me sir. No, I don't do that, sir.
How was that pause?
The way you said it.
Here we go.
It's the way you said it.
Yes, sir.
No, they want the way that's it. No. Don't try to change it up now.
It's all good though. I ain't pausing myself.
Of course you don't never pause yourself. You always pause me.
3 times.
No, I'm talking about with the button. You always I'm the one to get paused.
With the button.
I get paused like a motherfucker from your ass.
Because you be saying pause worthy shit.
I don't be thinking like
You're
that.
the reason why we started the pause button again. You were one of the reasons.
No, well, Xavier was too. Don't blame me.
I know Xavier came late. I'm saying you were one of the initial reasons why I had to put the pause button in.
Oh God.
It's okay though, brother. You're part of history.
No, that's bad history. That's not good history.
Not history. That's hilarious. They love it when I play that pause button.
I bet they do.
Hell yes. When Miss Niecy at? She going, oh, by the way, family, do you know Sony tried to copyright my stream?
Over the
Jamesons?
Oh, that don't surprise me. Damn, they on every damn thing black.
They try to say that that's the Jefferson song. I'm like, how? It's not their song. It's not your song.
That song? Hold on. Sony on every damn thing black, don't you? God damn.
I'm surprised they didn't come after me for the Malcolm X speech I played.
Yeah, they own that too. Who owns I Have a Dream?
Sony.
Damn, they own everything black, don't they? Shit.
Yeah.
Damn, they love them when black folks don't.
Not even NBC. When I did the other one, not even NBC claimed it. Sony tried to claim it.
Damn, boy, they love them some black folks. They must got a black person working.
But they're on the WFA. They're a part of GARM.
That's just weird. Like, damn, Sony. I know y'all got PS5s over shit. Oh,
I don't care.
I know they don't care.
What I tell you, but what also have I told y'all? Acronyms be kicking their ass.
Hey, you see that video on X yesterday? I don't know if you saw it from Corn-Fed, where the guy was he was on webcamming with a.
Yeah, I saw that.
I see.
Come on, they can't beat them allegations. I was about to put under there the video from Sugar Hill.
Man, he was.
And you see how quickly he code switched, right?
You talking about the Congolese?
Yeah, you see how he code switched, right? Right in front of them white boys. And then went right back to talking like a regular black person. Lord.
It's them Congolese, them Nigerians, and we're gonna go with the Kenyans. How about that? Top three, right? Coons in the African continent.
Congolese, I ain't sure. I don't know too much about them.
I heard
Nigerians definitely.
Nigerian might be. Well, Nigerians are the
Especially when I
right
played that
now.
video a year ago where that British dude, he said, I've never been to Nigeria before. And I was shocked. I was like, that's your people though. How are you shocked?
They ain't his people. They call him a Kata too. He's not a real Nigerian, remember?
Nah, Kata's for y'all.
I call him a Kata.
Son, they say you in a submarine, bro. They say you Denzel in Crimson Tide. You heard what I said?
Oh Lord.
They said they about to tell you to read
I'm
the
in the
order out,
grocery
Mr.
store,
Hunter.
Torian.
They said read out the Mr. Hunter. Read out the
I'm in the grocery store. Y'all know I work in the grocery store, man. Leave me alone. I'm about to get off shit.
Pause. See? There you go. See? You thought I was lying when I told you that you were the reason why I had to do this.
Pause. He paused. I said pause, nigga. Mind you, LeBron is spending $2.5 million on his body. Pause.
I would give it to Barkley. Pause. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, but I'll let you go. Pause. It's a luxury to have a big man. Pause. They gave him the soft one. The hard one. Pause. Pause, nigga.
Gave me the whole damn pause button. Fuck you, kid.
You did it again.
Pause. He paused. I said pause, nigga.
That was a FU moment. Like you get my goddamn nerves.
He did it again. You went for 3 people.
Pause. He paused. I said pause, nigga.
Go to hell. How about that?
That's even better. There you go.
Hey! You want some more?
Do you have more?
Nah,
I
I
don't
don't
mind
got
getting
more.
roasted today. I'm about to go get some jerk chicken. I gave you some ammunition. Go ahead.
Nah, you know, you need to go get some lunch. I'll get ready for Torian's live at 6. Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Oh, word. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, just promote the Torian's live on your show. Yeah, I sure did.
Oh man.
So that's gonna be some good worker tape. So, all right, let me go ahead and drop down. I don't know if somebody else coming up. I'm gonna drop down.
Let me just check in real fast. See Ben Shapiro. Oh shit, he's still talking. Which real quick.
So is it then, whether or not antitrust law as it currently exists extends to that, if foreign government or foreign-based political actors with global reach are using their economic power to limit the expressive rights of Americans, or certainly to intrude on and affect our electoral processes by favoring one political side or the
Lord,
other,
we're not
to the
doing
point
this.
of, jumping in and saying we don't like the Hunter Biden laptop being exposed. Is that not a legitimate object for Congress certainly to look at? And then should Congress consider the extent of its regulatory power to protect Americans' expressive rights?
I mean, certainly quite dangerous when you have the EU working with GARM to set standards for what companies can and cannot advertise or should not advertise, while simultaneously attempting to regulate the social media companies that are largely the recipients of those ad dollars.
What accounts for the
Wait a minute.
solicitude of my colleagues?
Is that Larry
Democrats
Elder?
For the international conglomerates' expressive rights and their disregard for the expressive rights of ordinary Americans.
Yeah, I mean, the hypocrisy is rather glaring.
That looks like
As
Larry
I said
Elder. I ain't
earlier,
even gonna
the
hold
shocking
you.
adherence to free market capitalism and freedom of consumer choice on the left side of the aisle today is something to behold. They've
That
invoked
looks
it
like
almost as
Larry
commonly
Elder.
as they've invoked Project 2025 today, which frankly I'm getting a little creeped out by. I think if they say it 3 times, then President Trump appears and challenges them to a golf match or something. It's like Beetlejuice.
It would be funny if it weren't so strange. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I thank all of our guests for being here today. Professor Waller, I appreciate you being here and sharing your time and your expertise with us on these issues of antitrust. And I thank you for setting this committee straight when it comes to, as you put it, quote, the consensus of understanding of antitrust laws by most courts and commentators.
All right, I just want to see what Ben was saying. I swear to God, I think that was Larry Elder, but All right, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I'll try to be better next time. I might have to go laugh at that live I did earlier because that was funny as hell. I hit 2,000 on that, by the way. So thank y'all for running the numbers up. Thank you, trolls. Y'all, yeah, I don't fucking get it. Thank you to the trolls. We're almost at 2,500. Thank you to the trolls. Make sure y'all go over there and like it. Maybe we can break the algorithm. And shout out to Lisa Cabrera because she's talking about this right now. That Byron Donalds piece. So we're going to get up out of here. I will see y'all whenever. I ain't sure yet. But we will see you then. We still got to talk about this Candace Owens piece. How she getting cooked by conservatives right now. So we might have to discuss that. And also I saw damn, I just had it in my head. Pause. There's something else I wanted to talk about. Somebody else might have got they come up and I'll remember it. I'll probably write it on the community tab if I remember it. But yeah, family. Y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence. Because you got to start here.
Moving on up, moving on up, to the inside, moving on up, where the looks apartment in the sky, moving on up, to the inside, we finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry on the kitchen, a fish don't burn on the grill, took out one of the dry just to get up and eat. Now we're rolling big leaves, getting our children there. As long as we leave, as soon may, baby, there ain't no wrong with that. We're moving on up, to the inside, to our dear looks apartment in the sky. Moving on up.
Get out of there! Don't wait around. Yep. Mark, yeet, and get out.
Time's up. But did we have a good time here? Hello?
At the end of the day got to end.
And that's it.